And I hate the fact that I do clean comedy. I'll have comics going on stage and they're like making jokes and like swearing and like f***ing that. And the audience like, yeah. And then I'm like, hey, orange. Is color also, fruit also? And they're like, who is this guy? So my first list is movies for your girlfriend or wife. And I just have a request. All I'm asking you is to watch The Matrix with me, man.
Before you got married, what was the frequency with which you changed the bed sheets? Like,
oh, that's a horrific question to ask. I never did. Also, great selection of seats. It's the most squeakiest seat you can have. Is there an audio version of this?
Yeah.
I just want to explain what is going on. We are moving in our seats. I also I've written the first line here is high res everything. So because I come from editing background, I don't watch compressed shit.
Let's say if I am on a date with you and you are a female and let's say a dog comes in and me, the guy, hides behind you. So the next day when we'll wake up to
Vaibhav has assumed that they're going to sleep that night. Strong assumption, Vaibhav.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Audible Presents The Longest Interview. This is my conversation with Kenny Sebastian. Kenny के साथ जो हमारा episode है, that in its literal sense is the longest interview in the complete history of चलचित्र Talks. पूरा का पूरा episode 2 घंटे 40 मिनट से भी ज़्यादा का है. And आप लोगों को मज़ा आने वाला है because it's filled with comedy, it's filled with recommendations. By the way, all the episodes of the longest interview will be out on Audible very very soon. So आप इनके audio versions Audible पे भी सुन सकते हैं. So let's jump right inside the conversation I had with Kenny Sebastian. Hi Kenny, how are you? Welcome to Chalchitra Talks.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thank you for having me and this sweet studio. I know you've started from your room and stuff, and now we are in a fancy studio with lights and 3 cameras. Very cool.
Yeah. Have you been here before?
No, it's my first time.
Yeah,
I've been in this area. A lot of these management companies and studios and all that.
Yeah. And I was surprised to see they finally built a road here. Like for the last 10 years, there was no road in Aramnagar.
Yeah.
So I was pleasantly surprised to see they finally have a
small
road.
Pleasures of life.
Yeah. I'm going to take a lot of recommendations from you today. Sure. But let's begin with socks. I want to know where your socks are from.
Oh, so fun fact, I've spoken about this, I'm colorblind. So any color you see on my body is because of my wife.
Oh.
So she is the literal color of my life. So now she got me these socks. And I think because growing up, I had a very difficult relationship with color. I avoided it even though I have a painting degree. So she has bought me the most colorful things and I wear them because I know in confidence that it's okay. Somebody won't be like, why are you matching this with this? So, yeah.
But like, where can we get it from? Do you have any idea?
You need to ask my wife from her hundreds of websites she has found online. I don't know. She's very giving. So I think I'll ask her to put it up on her Instagram, which also I'm very encouraging of.
Yeah.
Also, great selection of seats. It's the most squeakiest seat you can have for any interview, any talk.
CC, the art team, guys.
Is there an audio version of this?
Yeah.
So I just want to explain what is going on. We are moving in our seats. Yeah.
Guys, कल का देख लेना यार, थोड़ा अपन को शहीद करना पड़ेगा.
No, keep it. You have strong choice.
Do you have any chair recommendations? Like
yeah. I love wooden chairs which are very cheap. Not saying these are cheap. I think all these like fancy. There's a new fad, no, for like these aero chairs which are like some 50 grand or something. Yeah. Fully against that.
Dude, my friend has a 80 grand seat, but it has that life warranty. One of the biggest like chair companies in the world. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, and they say the chair investment and the bed investment.
Bed investment, I agree. Yeah. Bed has a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But I think chair, just wood is more than enough.
Yeah.
Upright, more than enough.
You know, I also realized I also got some new chairs, but I realized I don't need a headrest. I don't know. मेरे को लगा कि everything will change once I get a headrest, but I realize my life is better off without it.
Yeah, I never use a headrest in a car also. I feel like when you lean back that much, you kind of come across as an ass. Like I feel like this is a very flattering, engaged position when you talk to anybody, or at least this. To be this relaxed.
I think you must be into trades or stocks when you have 5 screens here.
Yeah.
Headrest uske liye hoga.
If you're in a bad cave, headrest is fine. But like if you're like, I mean, if you're alone by yourself, you're taking a nap, headrest is great. But if you're talking to another human being, you can't be like this.
They always say keep your back straight, but headrest thoda piche nahi le.
Exactly. Then you're in asshole mode. Don't lean back. It's very rude. On flights also. Yeah.
I want to be on this tangent. We are talking about different products. One of the questions I asked towards the end is a thing you purchased for less than 10,000 rupees that you would recommend to everyone.
Oh, below, there's so many. I think like phone case. Phone case is very good.
Can I see your phone?
Get a good phone case. I love this case nice. I got. Get a good phone case. Get a case for everything. I wish we could have like body cases for the body, like elbow.
Caskets or something?
Like, so I'm into motorcycle riding and I have these like big jackets and I love them. You feel like so protected and loved. But you can't wear them in Bombay. So I would say cases of all kind. I bought I get a big kick out of buying cost-effective things. So I went to Nike and the guy got very excited and I told him, what is the cheapest pair of shoes you have? And there was a pair of shoes for like 1,400 and it's not these somebody gave me. 1,400, dude, best shoe, best Nike shoe. I abuse it so much. And you have the logo. So you feel cool dude. Also. $1,400, man.
And which color is it?
Black. There's no effort put into that shoe. Except I think it's like the least offensive shoe you can produce. Dude, I think it covers your foot and the sole has no character. It's lovely. 1,400. What's another thing? That's really changed my life. I think any sort of charging cable. Any good charging cable. Like invest in a good high speed, high transfer. Cable.
And one good investment is long charging cables like those. 100 meter long or something. I don't know, 10 meter long or something.
I become more giving also because I'm very protective of my charger. So when people ask to borrow, I want to say no.
And you need to have those braided wires.
Braided. It's one nice class to them. And I think good bed sheets really make a big, coming on the sleeping topic, you can get like good bed sheets for really change. Like before I got married, I was like, there's no point to bed sheets.
Before you got married, what was the frequency with which you changed the bed sheets, like in a day?
Oh, that's a horrific question to ask. I never did. Unless I have a very wonderful house help. Her name is Sanjana, and she, bless her heart, she has an OCD problem. So she's way more cleaner than I am. So when I had to move houses, she got stressed. She used to look at the boxes like, "Bhaiya, ye sab kya hai?" And I'm like, "Dude, I am moving the house." So she makes sure that I'm a little more hygienic. But I think it's also not coming from helplessness. It's just like, I think my wife appreciates life more than I do and comfort. So like she's come into my life and showed me like, why are you suffering like this? Like I have this problem where I'll sit in a room, I'll be sweating, I won't switch on the fan. I don't realize that I can be comfortable. So she like switch on the fan and I'm like, this is so much better.
This is genius.
And she's like, you could just, and it's not laziness also, I'm pretty active. It's just, I think I refuse to believe I deserve to be comfortable.
But the frequency of changing bed sheets.
So in that thought, I think till I'm being bitten, I wouldn't change it. And I have a dust allergy also. So till I'm sneezing or being bitten, I won't change it. So I think maybe a month, I guess.
Hannah?
Yeah, a month. Also, she's not waste water. So, it's a huge waste of water.
What's the weirdest thing that you own?
The weirdest thing I own? I own a lot of equipment. By the way, all these cameras you have, I have all of them.
So I saw you like flexing in the Kanan podcast after.
Yes.
You own all this equipment.
Yes.
All these mics, all the camera.
Yes.
So my question to you, Kenny, is how do you make money from this podcast?
It's a flex to you. Nobody thinks it's a flex. Everyone thinks like, why does anybody need more than a phone camera or max one camera? I have 6 cameras.
You have 6 cameras.
Yes, I recently got.
Can we change our equipment rental to Kenny?
I don't want to say it, but I have way better stuff than you guys. Which A7 is this? Oh, that's fucking awesome. A7S3 is good. I got an FX6 recently, so. Other people have expensive watch hobbies. I just get gear, man. I love gear, so.
Do you mind renting it out the next time?
No. The dream is not to rent. The dream is, I would rather stay in my cupboard than I give it to anybody else. Unless I come with you and I watch you use it, which is such a horrific waste of time. But I'll tell you, there is some humility behind this. When I was 16, 17 years old, I got into photography and video, and I just wished I had a camera. So my first video is on YouTube. I had shot borrowing my friend's camera, my friend's mom's camera. So she used to be very upset with me because I used to be like, Auntie, you're not using it. Can I use it? And then my first girlfriend's dad was into wildlife photography, and he opened this drawer once, and he had a 5D Mark II, and he had a bunch of lenses. And I was like, how can one human being own a camera like this? And then now cut to now, I have an FX6 and I'm very happy.
How much did you pay for the FX6?
I don't want to talk about that.
Is it under the category of a product for less than 10,000 rupees?
What do you think? You think you get a camera for below 10,000? You don't get a phone. You don't get a phone with decent camera.
No.
Why was trying to make me look bad?
Vinayak, क्या Nomsita FX6 कितने का होगा? 3.5? That is FX3, so it's 5.
FX6.
5.6.
Maybe. That's the body only. But anyway.
That's the body.
Yeah. But
have you shot something recently on the FX6?
Who's this relatable to? I don't know. But after I got my FX6, I started appreciating the A7S3 more. Yeah. I was like, oh, all the things that FX6 has is just slightly better than the A7S3. So I started appreciating my A7S3 more. And I realized I don't deserve the FX6.
You know, there's this film which came out recently.
Yes, the creator. Yes. They shot on FX3, yeah.
FX3 or
yeah,
Sony
not even
A7?
FX6.
No, they shot a lot of parts on Sony A7.
A7?
Yeah,
that was the B cam. But the main cam was FX3. Yeah.
Have you watched The Creator?
Of course, yes, I saw
Kaisi
it.
lagi aapko?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to the next topic that I'm very, 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 very accommodating of films. Like, I won't say any film is bad, which was something I want to talk about, which is why I don't like critics.
You don't like critics?
No, I think the world will be a better place without them. I mean that in the nicest way. I feel like it's like the one job that shouldn't be there. It's like, because an artist is already struggling so much with self-doubt. And I think any movie that's made is a miracle, because you have combined art and business, and they don't mix inherently. And it's crazy any businessman is putting any money into a movie. It's just insane. Like, you could just put it into an index fund and you would get way better returns than a film. So if a businessman is stressing an artist and the artist is spending 1.5 years into a film, and it's a very famous saying, right? Nobody sets out to make a bad film. Everybody's put their heart into it. And then critics come and trash it. I'm just like, who is this helping? Because also now the audience has a voice. And they're also very smart. So they can trash it. Why there has to be a professional person trashing it? And also how the algorithm works, nobody wants to hear a positive review.
Nobody wants to hear a
positive review. It's boring. Right? So there's no room for a positive critic also. So I just feel it's so if you ask me, Kenny, do you like this film? I will 99% say yes.
You know, Tarantino's last film is coming out, and it's called The Movie Critic.
Yeah.
I think they just revealed today that the main
Brad
guy.
Pitt.
Yeah. It would be very, very interesting to see.
Tarantino is awesome. Like, he was, I think, a person who loved consuming films, and then he was like, "Mujhe bhi karna hai." And I have respect for anybody who's done it and then is critiquing it.
Acha, so critics they haven't done it and yet they are critiquing it. So that's
Yeah, because I don't see the value you're adding if you're not done it yourself. And I'm not saying that, oh, if you're not done it yourself, you have no right. Because I feel the audience has a right to criticize a film. Because unke liye banaya hai. But just a critic whose job is, they're also very miserable. And I don't know. I feel like it's like we have parents. We have parents. We don't need critics. Like, we have society. Don't need critics. So it's a very passionate thing. And I know this is the worst place to say it, but I was like, I'm gonna come on Chalchitra Talks and say we don't need critics. We need supporters. We need people encouraging young kids who's drawn something, who's painted something, who's sang something.
Yeah.
And tell them, good job, keep doing it. You'll get better at it.
But I will share some good critical pieces.
It's going to be about Raji, but I know.
No, I see like tangent pick though. There's this guy Richard Brody.
Okay.
He writes for New Yorker. Very, very solid guy, the New Yorker. And then there's this guy. He left critiquing movies. Now he has moved to book reviews. His name is A.O. Scott, New York Times. Two of the greatest like film critics out there. So these two I really like.
Oh, I've not read these reviews. Like, what does it add to you when you read it?
So, like, there are some films like, have you seen After Sun?
No.
Oh, so there's this film which came out on Mubi last year, and Paul Mescal is there in it. It's about a father-daughter relationship and how a father abandons the daughter. मैंने पहली बार देखी मैंने क्या है मेरे लिए तो लैंड ही नहीं करी but I knew it was a great film. It was one of the biggest films at Sundance and all these films, and of course I couldn't appreciate it, but then I went on to read some reviews of that film and then you just get new perspective.
So it's a positive.
Yeah, I'm talking about the
of course, yeah, this is great. A critic going out there and making you realize how amazing it is.
Yes.
Oh, bless your heart. I'm talking about a critic who's just...
What's your opinion of KRK?
I mean, just that question. Vaibhav, do we really have to answer that question?
Yes.
I think he's a good example. I don't think he's adding value.
Yeah.
Because to give you a background to the audience, just to give a quick, because you'll hear a lot of strong opinions from me, and these are just my opinions. I did a 4-year degree in painting, and I specialized in sculpture. And during that, I was also an editor. I also shot stuff.
Wow.
So when I was 21, I edited a feature film.
Wow.
So I have done my work. I've done my labor in this. I'm not saying I'm good, but I understand what it takes to be in this very unforgiving and very illogical art form. So when I come from this, and I've done music, I play the guitar, I compose music. I've done stand-up for 13 years. So when I'm in this, and also I'm in India where we are struggling with poverty and a lot of kids are not educated. And in this environment, and I come from middle class family, my dad was in the Navy, so no connection to the industry. I shouldn't be here today. Like, if it wasn't for the democratization of art because of YouTube and blogging and the internet, I shouldn't be here. There should be some kid whose uncle is in the industry and he gets to do stand-up. Stand-up also was a very closed network. Comedy Store in London, Comedy Store in the US, very closed, gatekept network. That also opened up because of the internet.
Right.
So I'm coming from this background. So I've seen friends in my college who can't pay rent because they paint. And I've seen really rich friends who come from very rich families pursuing filmmaking.
Yeah.
And they think they're being brave. So I've seen a lot of this. So I think, and also I'm so grateful to my dad and mom for being so supportive of me doing random things like sketching or drawing or making jokes or playing the guitar. So I feel the world needs like more support with art. So that's where I'm coming from. So I feel like in India especially, for 50 years, can we not bash any creative person. It'll be really nice. Just for 50 years. You know, like how the Indian government is not allowing Tesla to come into the country because it'll affect Tata and electric development in India. Can we just do that for artists? Like, can we just protect artists for 50 years in India? Let them do what they want to do. Support them. Just for 50 years. After that, let's level playing field. Let's criticize them. Let's talk about good writing, bad writing.
So are you saying कि अगर if there is an artist out there and someone critiques the stuff in a bad way, there might be a possibility he won't make things again because he is...
I mean, that's a horrific outcome. I think, obviously, I'm not denying the minority of artists who are delusional. But I'm guessing in India, if you're an artist, you must have really like overcome amazing barriers to get here. And you are steeped in self-doubt. And your family doesn't support you. And you're not making a living. And your future career is not... I did not expect this conversation come here, but I just feel people need more support in India if you're an artist.
So let's say if you watch something of a fellow stand-up comic, now I want to move to feedbacks and everything like that.
Yes.
So like how brutal and straightforward are you with feedbacks? Because it's also in some way critiquing the content of someone else.
Yeah.
So how do you do
You saying how do I take feedback?
How do you give and take feedback?
Oh, so again, I think how I give feedback is with a lot of empathy. Is like I would give feedback to my very close friend. I would give feedback to Kanan or to Biswa or to Abish, who are my close friends, because they know in my heart of hearts this is coming from a good place. If I give feedback to a young comic, I will only give feedback to them if they came and asked me, and they looked me in the eye and said, Kenny, can you give me feedback and be very honest, because I only want to grow from what you're going to say. Then I'll attempt to give feedback. Otherwise, I refrain. I just tell them, keep doing what you're doing. Please just keep doing what you're doing and don't self-destruct. Just don't self-destruct. Don't get into some addictive thing. Don't become your own enemy. Don't listen to what other people are saying. Just as long as you're not harming anybody, just keep, for the love of God, keep doing what you're doing.
Wow.
Because you'll only get better, no?
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody get worse.
Yeah. And like, and do you also receive such empathetic feedback?
So because I'm in stand-up, which is the worst thing you can do for your mental health, it's the worst. Like as I'm growing older, I realize I go for therapy only because I do stand-up comedy. To face so much social rejection on a constant basis, on purpose, is not healthy for anybody. And I don't need to get as much feedback because stand-up is so brutal anyway. You can't fake laugh. And also how I write stand-up is I go perform in front of people who are not my fans. So in Bombay, we have this thing called open mics where people are generally coming for comedy. So they don't know I'm coming to perform. So if I do 10 minutes, they may be like comfortable with Hindi or another language or another style of comedy. And I go and do my English jokes. And if I can make them laugh, then I know objectively this is a good joke. So that's the wonderful thing about stand-up, I think. We don't need feedback because the audience is right there. They'll tell you, this joke sucks, please go to the next joke.
Got it. Yeah. I want to like move to a next question. Who is your animation guy? You have such good animation intros. Like in everything you have made, from like the initial shows and like the Star Boys and Simple Ken.
Because I have a background in arts, I know what boss an artist wants. Like because I've done graphic design and freelance as well, I know what I want an ideal boss to tell me. So I have been very lucky to find this guy called Upmanyu Bhattacharya. If you're into animation, you know his name already. He's incredible. Like
dude, yeah, man.
Yeah, and I became friends with him, and I feel like in India, because there's such few artists, we all find each other, and he's such a wonderful guy. So he did the animations for me. And graphic design, I just go and find a graphic designer. And if anybody hire a graphic designer, push them to give you 2 drafts, because graphic designers need that push to give you a good draft. Like that's something I learned, that a lot of artists are like, ye to acha hai, client kyun bol raha hai? But I feel like I've always appreciated a client telling me to do one more draft. And don't expect a style that they don't usually do. So be like, do something in your style, and give me 2 drafts, and I'll pay you how much ever you want, and give me a realistic deadline. And really graphic designers flourish like that.
Wow.
They'll tell you, I'll take 1 week or 1 month or even 6 months. But be like, okay, you said 6 months, I'm going to ask you in 6 months for my product, and give me 2 drafts. And I think like they get very happy when you give them that freedom.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of counterintuitive to tell a graphic designer what to do.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, do we kar le? Yeah.
But this Upmanyu, right?
Yeah, he's the animation guy.
He has been there for a while with you, consistently there.
Yes, he's a friend who just is very kind to me because I can't afford him. And then there's Bhavya is the one who I worked with 3 years to do a Ken and Chip comic. Sneha Dasgupta is my simple Ken artist. So these are like my usual suspects.
Yeah. Are there any intros in general that you like from movies or shows, animated intros or otherwise title intros that have stayed with you?
Oh my god, there's a website called Art of the Title.
And right, this is very interesting.
I don't know if the website's still there. It is just a collection of all the title sequences of every movie. So it's a wonderful nerdy place to go.
Art of the Title.
Yeah, and I mean that's such a fantastic question. I can't answer it because off the top of my head, I love every Mission Impossible movie.
Oh yes,
because they show the entire film in the title sequence. The beginning title sequence has all the scenes from the movie, and I'm like, what a badass thing. But in animation, I've written it down. Genndy Tripathi is obviously very famous guy who did Dexter and Samurai Jack and Clone Wars. He's another person that I find like these, there's these few people who are very good at conning businessmen. And
how?
Like there are very few artists, like in art college I learned this, that if to be a successful artist, you need to know how businessmen think. Because businessmen can never think like an artist. But an artist, I think, can
think like a businessman.
It's not that hard. Like, just think about profit. How hard is it? Isko profit chahiye, iska incentive kya hai? An artist has no incentive. He's like, I just create. So a businessman, like, this guy crazy, he's crazy. And that's okay. I feel an artist will never be a businessman. Businessman will never be an artist. And that's absolutely fine. Because we need both.
Artist can be a businessman, but a businessman
can understand a businessman.
Can understand.
Yeah, can't be a businessman.
Yeah.
Because it's
two different things. Yeah.
Because businessmen see what is the value of this, and art there's no value. It exists.
Director, producer, or something.
Yeah. And so Genndy Tripathi and these few Christopher Nolan, very smart guys who are like, "Mujhe pata hai inko kya chahiye." I'll convince them that you are getting what you need from this. And I'll get to make my own thing.
Yes.
And that's the balance of going into a boardroom and pretending like you care about what they're saying.
Yeah.
And coming out and being like, I'll make what I want to make, but they think I'm making what they want. Yeah. Kind of like what Taika Waititi did with Ragnarok also.
Yeah. There's a Indian filmmaker only, like उन्होंने मेरे को same चीज़ बताई थी. He pitched a film to an OTT platform. उन्होंने कहा मैं ये करूँगा, मैं ये सारी चीज़ दिखाऊंगा. And they agreed और उन्होंने जाके अपने स्टाइल में एक आर्टसी फिल्म बनाई. And जब फाइनली लोगों ने ये क्या बना दिया आपने, मैंने कहा यही तो बोला था मैंने.
Yeah.
Like how?
No, but that I would consider a failure. I think even if you show the final product,
they shouldn't catch it.
Yeah, they shouldn't catch it. They'll be like, great, this is awesome. And then you smartly gave them what. Also, you shouldn't fool businessmen. They gave you their money, so thank you.
Yeah.
So give them their profit, which is your job. But at the same time, give them your artsiness, which they hired you for.
Yeah. I once saw this Q&A of Louis C.K. where he's also a filmmaker, right? And I think he's a good filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the importance of producers in the industry. He's like कि अगर आपको कोई executive producer आके या producer आके बता रही है ये काटो और ये वो तो artists बहुत protective हो जाते हैं नहीं. But then he said maybe it makes sense because they have been doing it for a while and they will add value to it. So he's like, it took him a while to realize there is a lot of value in the feedbacks which are coming from these producers.
True.
And like a lot of my friends who are into arts also say that a director or a writer always needs a good producer.
Yeah.
जो आके उन्हें बोल सकता है ये हटा ये रख.
So this conversation is great. Such a lovely point you brought up. And I think it depends on what you're making. Now, inherently, when you're making this episode. This episode, honestly, is not about me. It's not about us talking for 90 minutes. It has to be little entertaining, little palatable,
Yeah.
little tolerable,
Yeah.
and add some value. It can't genuinely be a true conversation.
It can be.
No, it can't be, because if I just pause right now for 5 minutes, you would
Yeah.
cut it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that inherently means that there is no space for
Yeah.
boring stuff. But when you make a film, it's not art per se. It's a product. It's entertainment. So when it's entertainment, this whole offense, Lena, you can't do. Because inherently you are creating a product that has a purpose, which is to entertain.
Right.
Entertainment has rules. Don't make it too long. Have a clear protagonist, have a clear plot, have some good pacing, have good music, good lighting. But if you're making art, a painting has no rules, because you're not trying to entertain anybody with an art piece. So when somebody producer comes, he's very objectively correct to give you feedback.
Right.
But अगर आप घर में painting कर रहे हो and a producer comes and say अगर आप ये करो, then he's like, I'm not trying to sell this. This is an expression of who a poet is saying poetry and someone के थोड़ा कम करो ये verse निकाल. It's like I'm not doing spoken fest. I'm not trying to entertain people. I'm just wrote poetry about a tree, dude. So I feel like people forget what is the context of this feedback.
Yes. Yeah.
So if the context is entertainment, you can't get offended.
Yeah, this is a lovely point. And now I want to ask you, which is your first movie watching memory?
Great question, Vaibhav. Already having a great time here. It's Jurassic Park. I was, I think, 3 years old, and my dad took me to Jurassic Park.
One,
yeah, of course. The only one that matters.
you don't like The Lost World too?
No, it's okay. But man, Jurassic Park 1 it's like Matrix 1.
Yeah.
I like Matrix Reloaded, but it's not Matrix.
Yeah.
So, I was, I think, 2 or 3. I could barely speak, and my dad told me I saw the movie, got scared, got excited, went out, and I asked my dad to see it again, and my sweet dad took me again, and I saw it twice. So, like one of my first movies, I saw it twice in the theater.
How old were you?
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah. So really love that film. I still do. I looked at it now, I'm like,
Wow.
good choice, bro. Jurassic Park was the first film that I ever
Wow.
saw. So
Wow.
Steven Spielberg is Mahan Admi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's your relationship with films in general?
Oh, I really love films. I think, so growing up in CBSE, Kendra Vidyalaya, dad was in the Navy.
KV number?
Many. Number 2 was 1, number 1 was 1, number 3 was 1. Then I came to Bangalore and I was in KV NAL, which is next to HAL, who do all our cool space programs. So growing up in that very restrictive, academics is everything, film, comic books, art was escapism. I think my body craved it. So just filled me with joy watching moving images. So it's such a core part of my joy in life. It's like I'm 33 now. Only thing I'm still excited about is a movie coming out. I'm so
Wow.
scared. If that'll go away, I'm not excited about anything else. Except I think my wife. But my wife and movies are the 2 things I'm excited about.
So it's movies, then your wife, and stand-up?
No, it's a terrible mix. It's both at the same time. And they don't mix sometimes. So my first list is movies for your girlfriend or wife. And I just have a request of all the girlfriends and wives. Please just watch the movie with your husband or your boyfriend. Just watch it. I take a keen interest in my wife's interest. She's a dentist and I listen to all her dentist stuff. And I watch all the romantic films she likes. All I'm asking you is to watch The Matrix with me, man. And I feel if you just do that favor to your male partner, I don't know how female relationships works, but male partner, he'll make him happy. So I wrote Matrix, Pacific Rim. It's a stretch, I know. But this is a test of how much you are selfless. John Wick, very violent. Guardians of the Galaxy, my favorite movie, and Jurassic Park. Just see these films for your partner, and I think they'll make them very happy. So, though I try to combine the two joys of my life, it doesn't happen.
So you can't do this on a date. You need to be dating someone or
Of course. Why would you torture your...
Pacific Rim date पे नहीं दिखा सकते.
Yeah, of course. I know everybody judged me when I said Pacific Rim. You know why I like Pacific Rim? Yeah. Obviously, it's a fun, dumb movie. My friends gifted me the making of the book. There's an art book. And you know what the first page says? So Guillermo says this was his dream film. He started making movies so that one day he could make a kaiju versus robots film.
Wow.
And I was like, I thought this is the dumb film he made, but apparently this is the one film that he's the most proud of. And that's when it hit me that you can never say a film is dumb. Because Guillermo was made like Pan's Labyrinth, and he thinks Pacific Rim is his childhood dream. So I was like, poor thing, everybody's just so pure and papa. So.
Yeah. So we have done the list of the films you should watch
with your
partner. Can you recommend me some films you can watch on a date?
On a date, don't watch a movie. I hate it when people talk during a movie. And my sweet wife has this habit of like multitasking. So when she's watching a movie and she picks a phone, I pause it.
Yeah, same.
I also I've written the first line here is high res everything. So because I come from editing background, I don't watch compressed shit. I don't watch an MP4 420p nonsense on a mobile. I want uncompressed 4K UHD in a surround system. I know obviously this requires money, but if you have the money, please don't watch some compressed shit. I'm in the editing workflow. You lose so much data. I'm colorblind and I watch in 4K. So I'm jealous of normal looking people. So I watch movie like a dictator. So don't see a movie on a date. You can't talk. See a movie you don't like, then go to a theater and talk. But
so I'll keep taking some segues, but I want to know which TV do you have, like on which you...
I have a... seems like a flex of gear episode. I don't have a car, by the way, just to get some sympathy back. I don't have a car. I don't have a house yet. I have 6 cameras. It's a problem.
But
this is the most expensive shoe I own. I'm just trying to get some sympathy points before I tell you what TV I have. So I have a OLED because anything else is inferior. Because LEDs have these backlit.
Yeah. Keep Amazon open. I want to know the price.
Yeah. So I have an OLED TV because the black contrast ratio is great. It's a Sony. It's around 60 to 70 inches, which is, I think, bare minimum for, a human being. And I have a surround system, which is 7.1, has Atmos. Because I've also done sound mixing. And it's a work of art, and you should appreciate the mixing. So that's how I watch films. And Trace...
How cool are your neighbors, by the way? Just
very cool neighbors.
Got it.
Trace, she used to think this is frivolous, and I've got her addicted to a big screen and good sound. So now when we go back to her parents' house in Goa, they have a small TV, and Trace is like, what is this shit? And I'm like, you made me so happy. Because the composition, also I'm a painter, I like the composition. I want to see what the director wanted us to see. So big TV, on a date, don't watch a movie. Go do an activity. Like, go walk, go for a hike, go for a pottery class. Don't watch a movie.
Yeah. I attended the Mumbai Film Festival this year, and I went with a fellow filmmaker friend of mine. He's again everything wide angle, like high res. He also made a film which premiered in Toronto Film Festival last year. Yeah. So he's like really, really mad about theaters. So we were sitting in the last row of NMAC. Or it is made for theatre and like plays and stuff, but for Mumbai Film Festival, it was the first time they were showing films.
Okay.
And we were sitting there during the opening ceremony, and he did one very interesting thing. He took his hand and like पीछे से उसने देखा कि अगर मैं हाथ से देखूं तो screen इतनी ही है. Like even when I'm in a theatre, the screen is this much. And then he took out his phone and he's like, see, अगर मैं ये phone पे देखूंगा ना, like it's bigger. Sometimes...
okay, this is the most insane thing I ever heard. Yeah. By that logic, your house looks this small when you 3 kilometers away from it. But मुझे इतनी घर में ही रहना है.
No, but like, it actually, like, क्योंकि अगर
I
आप बहुत
disagree.
पीछे बैठ जाओ
I reject this point, Vaibhav. Stop trying to convince me. Has he forgotten about this? The 15,000 speakers in this room in a theater that he's forgotten. And
अरे it's like when you go to watch a concert, right?
Yeah.
Like and like अगर आप बहुत पीछे हो, it
हाँ.
doesn't make sense.
concert
And let me ask
is a
you,
human experience.
in a theater, which is your preferred seat?
Middle, of course.
Middle.
Yeah.
जैसे नोलन का भी कुछ ना, उसने एक पूरा वो बनाया था मिडिल में भी, यहाँ से तीसरी
ये कुछ coincidence नहीं है. These are smart people who have figured out. See again, a few things I like, as I said, Vaibhav. One joy in my life is movies. So why are you trying to shame me, man?
I'm not shaming
Yeah.
you. No,
Yeah.
I'm saying कि मैं कभी-कभी front row में बैठ के देखता हूँ, and I think it's
Fine.
people don't understand कि how good an experience can it be when you are in the front row,
True.
and it can sometimes be better than sitting in the last row. This is what my
Oh yeah, that I agree. But the logic कि मैं phone में ही देख लेता is
नहीं वो उसने screen sizes compare करे.
that hurts my feelings. So Trace also watches stuff on her phone, and I beg her to go sit in the living room and watch it.
Yeah.
And she's like, stop being annoying. She'll be comfortably in the bed watching like this, and I'm like, please.
और वो लगाते हैं earphones या बिना earphones?
No earphones. She's the balance in my life. So.
Yeah. And like, do you have people over जब ये आपके movie watching? Do you have movie nights?
I've stopped watching movies with friends. Yeah, they come late. We go for movies together. They always come late, and they miss the opening sequence. The opening sequence is how a director sells a movie to a producer. By the way, he's like 10 minute के. This is opening 10 minute. Please मुझे पैसा दे दो. This is opening 10 minutes. Opening closing 10 minutes. If you miss the opening 10 minutes, director who begged producer to give money, that scene only you've missed. So I've stopped. Sometimes I won't admit this to Trace, but sometimes I would just watch a movie alone.
Yeah.
So because I realize I'm too anal now.
Yeah.
So let me just. I'll second time watch it with her, pretending like I'm watching
Yeah.
the first time.
So मैं एक बार ना dating वाले segment पे हमने dating and post when you are in a relationship ये दो discuss कर लिए recommendations. Post breakup films
Yeah.
which you can watch.
Post breakup, I would say I've written a list of everyone should watch this. Any David Fincher film, just anything. 7 is like very messed up, very violent, so I would not say 7, but any Adam Sandler film, which is very weird, no, to say Adam Sandler, which is another topic I was telling Vaibhav on the phone, which I want to touch upon, is why mainstream movies are not given the respect it deserves. So just we'll come to that later. But Adam Sandler, any movie watch, any Matt Reeves, the Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, man.
What a surprise that they were. Like, if you can make a movie where your species is the villain, and you agree with that.
Yeah, man.
Like it throws away the logic ki isko relatable banao, make it likable. I'm like, they have made our own species unlikable, and the movie is amazing. So
Yeah.
Matt Reeves, any movie by Matt Reeves.
उसकी एक वो फिल्म है ना मैट रीव्स की जिसमें अपोकलिप्स हो रहा होता है. I'll tell you, मैं इसलिए फोन निकाला. I need to talk about it. वो हैंडल्ड है पूरी फिल्म.
Is it Cloverfield?
Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Damn
Too
nice.
good.
Huh?
It's like, my face is annoying. So when something's so good.
So
it
good,
irritates me.
right? हाँ मैं confused हो गया था. It's very.
It's too good. It hurts me how good it is.
I made Vinayak watch it one day. Just like after we finished work, I'm like, you need to watch Cloverfield.
Yeah.
And it's so fresh. Like it is so fresh.
It's too good.
And I've also recommended the trailer of Cloverfield, like the way. So I watch trailers after watching a movie.
Oh. so
Yeah,
cool.
like
Okay.
if I can.
Yeah.
Like mostly I try to do that. कि
Yeah.
मेरे को पहले मत बताओ because people have very bad trailer cutting hygiene. They reveal too much.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's a study about that.
Tell me.
The study is, if you tell people how a movie ends, they watch it more.
Shit.
Yeah, and apparently it's a very successful trend. That if you tell, this is the thing though about mainstream, that a mainstream movie has to have a good ending, happy ending. An indie film is a film with a sad ending. That's the basic difference. That's how La La Land really surprised me, because it has actually a bad ending. Not a bad ending, a sad ending.
Sad ending.
But commercial film is happy ending. If somebody survives. So apparently they show trailers, and if the people know that, acha, in 2 hours ye hone wala hai, I like it, I'll go watch. If you leave too much suspense, something else is bringing them to the theater, because maybe Christopher Nolan ki sare movie achhe hai, so I'll go watch it. But even laugh track, I read a study. People hate laugh tracks. Apparently, they do test screenings. People watch a show with laugh track. They come back and say, hate the laugh track, but they laugh. Watch a show with no laugh track, they don't laugh. So they complain about it, but laugh. You don't put the laugh track, they don't laugh. So it's this eternal human behavior dilemma. So the trailer thing is, even I was like, why are they, is no one in Hollywood smart to not show the ending? It's actually a thing. You show the ending, people come and watch.
Yeah. It reminds me of a short film a friend made. I think there is a feature also by the same name. He dies in the end. Like my friend made this film. Usne title is like he dies in the
hilarious.
end. Very
That's lovely. Man, meta jokes, dude.
Yeah.
So I've also written for my Bangalore friends. Please watch Austin Powers. It's not PC anymore. But Austin Powers. Have you seen Austin Powers?
I haven't.
Oh my god. Please watch it. It's a gift that keeps giving. This is your high school vibe.
Austin Powers.
Ace Ventura you've seen, obviously.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Should I leave? Okay. Scary Movie you've seen?
Yeah, I've seen Scary Movie.
Harold and Kumar? Yeah. And Mask.
The Jim Carrey one? Yeah.
So, Mask is actually a movie that really made me feel like I'm not weird. I think till then I thought I was weird. And then I saw Jim Carrey being all crazy in Mask. And I'm like, oh, I'm like that guy.
Yeah.
Then it kind of gave me calmness. Oh, I'm a comedian type of boy.
So these are the evergreen ones जो आपने recommend किया.
Yeah. So these are the, and if you notice, all of them are very mainstream. So the discussion I wanted to come to was after being in this field for so many years, I've noticed that you have two paths as an artist. Do you want to be taken seriously, or you want to have a good life? You can't have both. If you want to be taken seriously, you have to take guru ka position, where you have to do virtue signaling, where you have to talk in absolutes like a Sith. Basically, log aise hi hote hain, things are like this only. Like you have to give like absolute, larger than life persona, and you create a persona where people look up to you for advice, and you become that artist, very well respected. But I think you must be insufferable to be around. Or there's the other path where you treat this as entertainment. You have a role. I have to make people laugh. I have people entertain them. And you look at every project in isolation. This movie has this purpose. I'll make you laugh. You didn't like it, no problem. Next movie. Oh, you like it? Great. This movie? Don't like it? But the larger than life character is like, मैंने बनाया. Come watch. And the persona overtakes how good or bad it is. And I've noticed that mainstream movies are the functional, optimized, everybody should like it. And the thoda cult movies, or not everybody appreciates this. That's why I like it. The Rick and Morty fans, the very problematic, toxic audience who's like, I'm better than you because I understand this. And unfortunately, they do get more respect. They get more Oscar nominations also. Bichara Tom Cruise, I know he's crazy, but Tom Cruise never got any award. And I think so consistently he's been in a field giving so much to the movie industry, no appreciation. And Adam Sandler, another person just panned by everybody to not being smart comedian, but been so consistently giving back to the industry, to his friends, a very non-problematic person. He's not celebrated. Seinfeld, also people undermine him saying that basic hai, because he doesn't have any dark jokes or not problematic as much, I hope. But then you look at certain comics who are like quite problematic and toxic, and they have a fan following. And from a very young age, I was just like, I want to have a good life. I want to have a non-dramatic life. And I don't want to pretend like I know things. And I'm surrounded by all subtypes of artists. Artists who give gyan and position themselves as larger than life. And that's not true. And then you just have forgettable person who's just doing their job. And I really always held that belief, just do your job, be kind to people, and deliver what you're supposed to deliver.
Wow.
But I feel that people don't like them. They find them very boring, very, how can you be, I'm not even saying be humble. It's kind of like Shah Rukh and maybe some other artists. I think like Shah Rukh is defined by every project he makes. I don't think he does, I think it's a bad example, but I think his movie only works if he's good. I think in the South, this happens a lot. Like Mammootty and Mohanlal, they are worshipped. But if the movie is bad, no, they'll say it's a bad movie. And I've not seen that in many other places. Like in Shah Rukh also, I think he's worshipped, but movie kharab hai, they're like, ye to kharab hai. I feel a lot of other actors have taken I'm more than an actor. And I feel like it's very toxic, and I hope I've made my point clear. Have I been?
Yeah, mostly मेरे को चमका.
Okay.
Mostly हाँ चमका.
Yeah. So that's something like, so when I give you the recommendations, the first thought is obviously Jurassic Park is great. Obviously The Matrix is great. Oh, how is this a recommendation? But I'm like, again, like the art critic, it takes a lot of skill to make something to be simple, to be understood by everybody.
Yeah, man.
And to be entertaining. It's very, very hard. It's very easy to make a complicated plot with complicated characters, 3.5 hours long. There's no skill in that. There's skill in editing. Making a 90-minute film, how much was cut? Making a clear protagonist, clear story. It's a lot of polishing.
No, I like how you support the mainstream that ways. And one person I would love to know your opinion of is James Cameron.
This is why I'm here. James Cameron is another great example of, he understands his role. Yeah, I'm here to entertain. And I also have room to be creative. But I have to do my job first, which is be entertaining and be a fucking kick-ass movie. In the recent times, maybe I think he's got too much.
I didn't like Avatar.
Of course, he's got too much power, which is bad for anybody. Even happening to Nolan also, I feel. I think when he writes and directs, it's not...
When he tries to be Fincher, I don't think he's that good.
Yeah, even Cameron, I think when he used to do other people's screenplays, he was very nice.
Yeah.
Even Taika Waititi's, that's happening.
Yeah. I think abhi Dibakar Banerjee said it in one of the interviews कि directors are fundamentally not script writers. बहुत एक उन्होंने अच्छा point दिया क्योंकि they don't think about writing all the time. उनको ये short based है, ये चीज़ ऐसे दिखे और ये सब है. So you need to have people who just think about writing.
Yeah, and it's respecting, like for example, you have 3 cameramen here. They totally think I don't deserve the FX6, which is correct really. You know, it's just a dream of mine. But these guys think about cameras and lenses all day long. I'm sure their Instagram is full of this lens creator in Austria or something who takes vintage lenses and does some shit, and you're like, oh fuck bro. Like that is the level of, that's why you'll never be businessmen, because you guys are doing crazy shit. Good only, follow your heart. So you guys will always be better than a guy who can write and shoot and edit. Because it takes a human life to be good at something, no? So your life, your sacrifice for cameras. That's the choice you've made. So if I get your life, and then I get a life of a writer, and I get a life of a director, and a life of a producer, what amazing things you'll create. So you're right, like I don't think very few legends can do many things.
Yeah.
Like Satyajit Ray, maybe he can do everything.
Yeah. And that's why I love the pairing of Fincher and Sorkin.
Yeah.
No, social network.
See, that face came back.
It means...
Imagine that meeting, dude. Aaron Sorkin gives him a script. Fincher's like, cool. Just a level of trust. To be like, so a great person given must be crazy, dude. It's like that scene in Oppenheimer when Oppenheimer goes and meets Einstein. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. They used to do that stuff? They used to go meet each other? Damn, dude. It's really cool.
I love this tangent if we can think of more examples. When 2 OGs meet each other, maybe in real life or in fiction life. Like what is it called? The Rat Pack? Who was it? The Spielberg? Lucas?
The guy, Coppola, and and one more guy.
Yeah,
They're all
yeah.
buddies.
They were buddies.
They're giving feedback on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Spielberg did one scene in Scarface.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's not fair. It's not fair. So another film, which I would recommend to visual artists, which is Speed Racer. Have you seen Speed Racer?
I think I have.
You've seen it?
Yeah. But it's been a while. Yeah.
Speed Racer made by Wachowski brothers. Wachowski siblings.
Siblings.
They took an anime and made it into a film, and it bombed really hard in the box office. And while I was sitting in the theater, I was like, what balls to make this, dude? Because I'm like, this is a movie made, I don't know for who, but I couldn't believe they made an anime live action. And you see it now, it blows your mind. Like, if three subjects, the camera guys know this, three subjects all in focus. And they all that movie started, and then transitions, and it's incredible what they did that film. And when I meet somebody and they like Speed Racer, I'm like, we can.
Very nice. So I also want to talk to you about like shows in general. मेरे को एक बहुत fascinating चीज लग रही है कि जैसे मैं पहले भी ये question पूछने की कोशिश कर रहा था. For you, love for movies is more than love for stand-up.
Yeah. Stand-up. Just a quick background. I stumbled into stand-up. I always wanted to be a filmmaker. That was my main goal. When I was in 10th, 11th, I took a camcorder. I started shooting. I saw YouTube and I was like, oh, kids can shoot stuff. It's not just meant for adults. So I used to shoot stuff. I edited on my computer. I learned After Effects. I learned basics of visual effects. So and then I did painting. I did photography. So it was always film. And when I got into theatre to become a better director, and when I was doing theatre, I tended to be funny. And then people said you should do more funny stuff. And then I was also doing music. And while I was doing music, in the middle, I had to crack a lot of jokes. And people were like, oh, you're very funny. I mean, your music is okay, but the jokes are better. And then when I did stand-up in an open mic, it just clicked. Like the universe clicked. And I realized this is the most effortless thing I do. It doesn't feel like work.
But in the long run, you would want to make feature films and shows and like...
I mean, that's a great question, Vaibhav. But as you've heard my spiel, it really breaks my heart when you put business into it. But you can't escape it. If I make
sorry, I missed the whole thing.
Like if I make a movie, it has to do well.
Yeah.
Which is the inherent problem. So I want to make a film, but I also want people to watch it. But I also want it to do well. But I don't want notes. I met a director from Mumbai recently in an airport, and he was like, why don't you make films? And so Kanan and I have written scripts. And we write it. And we're like, ye koi nahi banayega. And we know, because we're comedians, we have that very strong objective ki this shouldn't be here, this is too long. We know it. We know what we have to edit. But we don't want to edit. So we're like, it's banate hi nahi hai. Let's just keep it in our hearts. Maybe someday, 30 years from now, when you can AI prompt a movie.
30 se jaldi ho jayega.
Unreal Engine mein you can prompt, you make this movie and we can see it. But it's... I did a show for Amazon. It was a 7-episode series.
The first show that you did?
It's called Die Trying.
Yeah.
It was an amazing learning experience. And I just realized I'm not good at convincing business people. And that this show deserves to be made. Like, you have to faff a lot. To be like, this story has to be told.
You are saying you're not good at convincing people, but wo bana to sahi show.
I was very lucky. I had an amazing manager from OML, Ajay Nair. So he helped us sell Sketchy Behavior, which is a sketch show, Star Boys, and Die Trying. It's because of him, not because of me. So he's very good at selling. But as I was making this, I was like, I don't think I find joy in listening to somebody tell me what I should be doing. And it's not coming from an arrogant place.
No.
It's like painting something and somebody's on your shoulder and they're like, aisa karo. And you're like, mujhe nahi karna hai abhi. I won't paint only. So maybe someday I'll grow out of it.
I have to ask you, in regard to TV shows, so ye jo aapka expression hai na, which are the shows which make you go like...
So, never seen Game of Thrones, okay? Because I have a addictive thing with films. So I was like, I won't get into shows really. Because there's so many movies I have to see. I was like, I can't do shows. It's too much. Human being can't create and watch and sleep and spend time with family. Game of Thrones, मैं देख ही नहीं रहा because people are getting so obsessed with it. I was like, I don't think I'll be able to handle it. Breaking Bad also, I saw first season and I stopped. I was like, this will consume me. I saw House of Dragon. I was like, let's see House of Dragon. It was just, my head exploded. And I was like, I can't do this.
No, in a good way.
In a good way.
It's actually good.
Everything out there is amazing.
Yeah.
I saw Stranger Things, my head exploded. So I am not worthy of these shows. I think movies I like because 3-act structure. I know the movie will end. The character will finish its arc. I really like that. Shows they have to, also because I wrote a show for Amazon, I know that every episode has to have a cliffhanger, so you can't finish your character's arc. And then you have to have season arc. So that even if you resolve the season arc, this next season has to have a new arc. So you can't wrap things up. That's why sequels are bad. Because the person never thought they'll make another movie. So they wrapped up everything. So I'm not a big show watcher.
But like since you made a show like Die Trying, one question because I've done a lot of episodes with comedians, so I ask everyone which are some of your favorite shows where a comedian is playing himself or some version of semi-autobiographical like stuff like Seinfeld, Master of None and all those.
Yeah.
Have you...
Seinfeld, huge. Seinfeld was the first comedian I ever saw. So the idea of stand-up came from in Bangalore as a kid, 5th standard. I used to go home, put Star World, I used to watch Whose Line Is It Anyway, and I used to watch Seinfeld. And then in the break, he used to come and do stand-up. And then I used to be like, why can't the whole show just be this? This jokes part is great. And then later I found out that's stand-up comedy. And I really love Seinfeld again for the reason that he could connect with me, a boy in Bangalore who's 13 years old. I laughed at his joke and I found that incredible that he was so fundamentally human. And that's, like, anybody can talk about the hood or can talk about UK politics, but like Seinfeld made me laugh as a 13-year-old in Bangalore. So I felt like so his show, again, there's no other show like Seinfeld where the characters are purposely unlikable. There is no direct arc, and I think Always Sunny in Philadelphia is another show where the characters are intentionally assholes. Like when I see Friends, no offense to Friends, it's a very cookie cut show. You love these characters, you hope they get together and they're happy. In Seinfeld, there's no such thing. It's all terrible people, judgmental, no direction. They always face the consequences of their actions. So I think Seinfeld, it's the only show I like because there's no other show like that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not a good person to talk about shows because I'm a film buff. I literally like sometimes sit down, I'm like, should I read this book or should I watch a movie? I make choices like that.
What's the answer mostly? Like,
so I read a lot of non-fiction, but if it's a fiction book and a movie, I just watch the movie. Because...
and what if that book has a show? Like
again, show, it's a commitment. No? Also, Vaibhav, like I've been creating content for like 13, not content, I hate using that word, like writing stand-up, making stuff for like 12, 13 years. I don't get a lot of time to consume. So I'm very careful about what I'm watching.
Yeah.
And I get very emotionally affected. So I've written here music recommendations. I can't listen to music and work. A lot of people can do that. Like if I play a song, I have to like stop what I'm doing, and I'm also a musician, so it's very emotionally affects me.
How how does something like a movie emotionally affect you?
Like I'm shaken after the movie. It's not like acha next. Some people watch 2 movies a day. I can't do that. I really have to let it simmer, and it really moves me.
Anything from before we move to music and books, anything from India that you watched recently?
Yeah, sorry. It might sound like I don't watch Indian films. I do watch. I watch a lot of Malayalam films also. But I primarily grew up in Bangalore, where we spoke a lot of English. So I think in English, I speak in English. So I prefer. But in a latest Indian film, okay, I saw Jawan. Okay, I had a blast. Dude, the editor, damn, dude, was on cocaine or something. In Jawan, a shot doesn't last for more than 1 second. It's like TikTok editing. The opening sequence is that village sequence, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that itself is a movie. They've established this character in bandages kicking ass and saving villages. It happens 6 minutes is that sequence. Boom, next. I was just like, how did they shoot this? The budget, the editor. I'm sure the director came and said, if this shot lasts for more than 1 second, I'll slap you. I was like, in the interval, I was like, man, I need 1 day break. There's more of this.
Watch the second half.
Yeah, second half. I can't handle it. But yeah, so I saw Barbie, and a lot of people told me it's too PG and all. I was like an emotional wreck at the end of it. Because it spoke about men also. It spoke about
The Kens.
and I loved it, and it called us out.
Yeah.
All our habits, and I think India needs a little more compassion and kindness towards its boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we need more hugs.
In regard to that, like, who is doing a great job, like, who is making good stuff for men, like compassionate stuff? Any creator in India, outside of India?
I like... Okay, I have to be very careful. I actually... I really like... Okay, I'm going to give you a hot take. I really like Karan Johar's depiction of men. I think he's the only director who's mainstream, who a lot of people watch him. Obviously, there are very amazing directors who are making like smaller independent films which are amazing. But like if I think of a mainstream director like Karan Johar, when I saw Rocky Aur Rani,
Damn nice.
I really liked the film. And I know it has its parts which is preachy, but I really liked Ranveer in it.
I also like.
And I think he's shown men as being very emotional and compassionate. And this is from somebody who's been in relationships where I think I have become emotional, I've cried. And my partner has found that unattractive. And I didn't get that support. And it kind of broke me that, it's kind of true that, this is my experience. I'm not saying all women are like that, but I've not got the emotional support in my family and with people I've dated. And I think my wife, Trace, is the first person who didn't make me feel less of a man for being vulnerable or sensitive or like a mess. I always thought I had to be like the best version of myself. And I think when I saw Rocky Aur Rani and I saw Ranveer wants to be committed, doesn't want to do a fling, is very emotional, gets teary-eyed, very excited. I found that wonderful. And obviously his dressing sense is incredible. That's very emasculating for a lot of guys, but I feel like it is so nice that there's a director out there who's making men who are more...
Yeah. In some ways, it can also be very anti-emasculating, no? Like
Yeah.
When you watch something like that. Because I fully agree with you. I don't know about the overall depiction of Karan Johar, like how he portrays men, but he got
let's say just
bang
Rocky Aur
on
Rani.
Rocky and Rani.
Yeah,
Bang
actually,
on.
I'm not remembering correctly, but Rocky Aur Rani specifically, great depiction of guys.
And the dancing bit and everything,
Yeah.
the way they did it.
I know it was a bit on the nose,
Yeah,
but I'm like, karna padta hai.
when you like it, like sometimes you let go of such things because you are so much soaked into the world.
Yeah,
You would like keep up with the theek hai yaar. I don't mind that.
yeah.
ये Rocky and Rani में काफी था, but yeah.
I'm having a great time talking about this. These are all the things I wanted to talk about, which was this misogyny thing. It's really freaking me out. A lot of young boys in India like saying some really bad things, and like a big criticism I used to get in my career is that this Kenny only has female fans, which is such a denigrating thing to say to women, right? What does that imply? That female fans are not the standard good fans. You need to have men also for you to be legit. Implying that having female fans makes you an artist that's not worth following.
मैं तो उल्टा सोच रहा था इसका कि
नहीं, there are two sides to it. कि only looks के लिए or girls to will like anything. But the actual fact is, from my experience, is that a female audience, again I'm sounding like I'm generalizing, but a female audience is so much more empathetic, they're so much very well read, very celebratory. Like if I like an artist, like I'll take 3 of my friends and I'll go watch this artist because I want to share the joy. Boys also are like that, obviously, but there are some boys who kind of think it's bad to celebrate an artist, or you're cool because nobody else knows about you. Once you become mainstream, I don't like you. So like I have such a privilege that I have a mostly female audience because they make me feel really safe and very understanding to everything in life. And I also have a very nice male audience who kind of, I think, are attracted to my softness. And I have guys in my shows who come and hug me, who say, you're really cool, I really like you. And I know that takes a lot for a guy to say, to praise another dude. And I hug them back and they say, I love you. And I say, I love you too, man. I can't believe a guy's telling me I love you. And that's reducing a lot. Like, a lot of boys think it's bad to express.
Yeah, no, fully on the same page with you, because in fact, I am also writing a show and it's called Not Man Enough and it's on my own life.
On your own life?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the premise? Like,
how... So I have this theory. I'm also saying it so that like I'll be accountable to make it. So I have this theory that I'm just trying to figure out like when is it exactly when attraction goes away. Let's say if you and I are going and like I am on a date with you and you're a female, and let's say a dog comes in and me, the guy, hides behind you and I'm not man enough in that
damn!
And everything was going great usse pehle tak, but this happened. So the next day when we'll wake up would things
Vaibhav has assumed that they're going to sleep that night. Strong assumption, Vaibhav.
Yeah, so would it change things? Like
that's a fantastic example.
Yeah. So I think about it a lot.
It's similar to what I had said. I've been in a relationship where I have cried and I could feel the attraction going away.
Oh.
Yeah. Or maybe I was projecting.
Yeah.
I can't speak for her.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel safe that I could cry. And I'm not a person who cries, so it must have been really bad for me to cry.
Bro.
Yeah. So it's like, so both people are accountable. Like I feel guys also call women too emotional, which is not cool. At the same time, women also call guys not too emotional, which is not cool. And both are equally... Yeah. Trace makes a safe space for me to be like that. And I don't take it as for granted and abuse it more.
Yeah.
But it's a great...
So
please make that show.
Yeah, I'm looking at those mini moments when you are not the protector.
Yeah.
The safe space. Like when you couldn't protect the person you love.
Yeah. There are certain roles, right, that a guy traditionally follows, which is provide, protect, and be strong-willed, which is different from provide and protect, which is, there's a death in the family, sab roenge, tu mat ro. Like, you be the pillar of strength. And my mom's been like the dad in my family, and my dad's been the mom. So that's the best thing that's happened to me. My dad's very emotional, very expressive, very loving. And my mom's very kadak. So when we used to be kids and fight, my mom was like, kya hai ye? We didn't have slippers, you guys are arguing about some toy. And my dad used to be like, let's find out what's going on. What is the fight about? So I think it really shifted the stereotype in my head. So when I saw guys being emotional, I thought that is completely fine. And when I saw women being assertive, I found that very cool because my mom's like that. Just how we gave that example of if you hide behind a dog, will she find that unattractive? The flip of that is if she is sexually forward, would you dismiss her as, oh, like this is not attractive because that means she's not, kya bolte hai, Savitri type. That flip is also there. Like guys don't like when a woman is forward because then they judge her as being like, oh, ye to sabke saath kar rahi hogi fir. So that both bias is there. So I really want to reiterate, it's not a female problem, it's both. We are both not letting go of our cultural understanding that women have to be pure and innocent and guys have to be protective and strong. So you also have to be attracted to a woman who's has manly, masculine qualities. And a woman should also give room for a man to be feminine and
I have to give a recommendation. I don't know if you have seen this show, Blue Eye Samurai. It's an animated
Oh,
show.
yeah, it's a new show, right? On
Yeah,
Netflix?
on Netflix. So you realize that you see the life of a samurai and like a great samurai, unbeatable samurai, but it is revealed after 1 or 2 episodes that she's actually a female, and though people don't realize it. Then in one episode we see the past of that female, where she was actually trying to be the woman who would cook at home and everything, and she had a very masculine husband. So once the husband took her for like I'll show you how I use my sword and everything, and he gave her a wooden sword ki like I'll teach you how to fight. But the woman was like, मैं दिखाती हूँ कि मेरे को आता है. And by the end of it, the woman like really destroyed the man, and like वो तलवार उसने उसके सर पे ऐसे रख के कर दी, and he was totally emasculated. Then he sends 5 people to kill her because he was that devastated. कि भाई.
Yeah. So like. So that's something we also have to work on. Like in a situation when your female partner takes control, you can't take it as an insult to you. Which is something I always struggle with. Like there's sometimes
such a great line, dude.
Yeah. Like Trace will sometimes take charge, and it feels like she's dismissing me. But she's not. There's nothing to do with me. She's just taking charge. But I'm thinking like, oh, she's taking charge because she thinks I can't take charge. Which is not true. And I'm working on it.
Have you seen White Lotus, the HBO show?
It's a show, right? No.
Yeah. उसमें एक line है कि how you talked about कि the men don't have like good idols.
Yeah.
So उसमें एक ऐसी line है, in a very funny way, straight white men are the ones who now deserve the most sympathy.
Yeah. No, I don't want to say we don't have good idols. I feel everybody was so rightly focused on women empowerment that thoda focus chala gaya from young boys, and this space has been filled by really problematic idols. We did have great idols in the past, but then there was a big discrepancy with women which we needed to address, and then we're addressing that. I think thoda overcorrection ho gaya hai, and both need equal support.
Got it.
And I think the men have really so the idols have seen a pattern. They start by saying, have a goal, go to the gym, work out, and slowly it becomes key. You are the man, women don't matter, women are the problem in your life. So it slowly gets into that toxic area. But it starts off in a very good place. Key.
Yeah.
Be self-confident, love yourself.
Yeah.
So we need a little more good idols.
Lovely. Who are your favorite comedians?
Oh, so I've written favorite comedians and their specials. Obviously, Seinfeld. Chappelle, big fan of Chappelle. Killing Me Softly and Age of Spin. Please check out on, I don't know if Kill Me Softly is on Netflix, but Age of Spin is. Please watch that. Latest special has not been very nice. Ricky Gervais is somebody I really like as a person, as how he's navigated through his career. You might not like his specials, but he's an genuinely interesting, funny comedian in general, like in interviews, and he's a great guy. CK all specials. I don't think there's a bad special is written. Chris Rock, Tambourine, very nice special. And what is that? Bigger and Blacker, very good special. And Ali Wong's King Cobra, excellent special.
Have you seen that HBO bit where Talking Funny?
Yeah, of course.
Amazing, no? Gervais, CK.
Talking Funny is why I started Simple Get. I was like,
seriously?
Yeah. I wanted to do a podcast where I could just nerd out about stand-up comedy with like 4 of my friends. Because I was like, why isn't this like 10 episodes?
It was fabulous.
To the list, watchers, Talking Funny had Louis C.K.,
Chris Rock, Seinfeld, and Ricky Gervais.
And who are like legends. It's like if Spielberg, James Cameron.
That rat pack.
Nolan sitting together and Lucas talking together. So what's great is all of them have different styles.
Yeah. They are talking about the usage of the word, the fuck word. Like, should it be there? Should it not be there?
Yeah.
Do you discard all your material after a year or not? Seinfeld to 15 saal chala raha hai.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff, yaar.
So it happens even, I mean, I'm not comparing us to them, but so my very close friends are Kanan, Biswa, Abish in the comedy industry. And we all kind of started, Kanan and Biswa at least started, Abish started, I think before time. And we have very different styles. Kanan's very like introspective, very layered. I'm very mainstream, observational, clean humor. Biswa is very personality-driven, aggressive Chris Rock kind of style. But when we sit together, we have like very interesting conversations about what an audience would like, even though all three of us do completely different comedy, but we fundamentally agree on things. So yeah, comedy is very fascinating because it's kind of like philosophy and behavior psychology said in a very entertaining manner.
Yeah. A segue. This is a question I really like when I read it. Like, what's a short, clean joke that gets a laugh every time? Like,
oh my god, is there? I don't have short, clean jokes. I have. I also come from a school of thought ki I want you to get to know my vibe, and then I say stuff, and then you find it funny because you know my vibe.
Got it.
That's why I'm very scared of people quoting jokes. Because vibe kya tha, you know?
Vibe kya tha?
Yeah. You have to... Stand-up is... So when I'm with my friends, I make some horrific jokes. So I'm very clean on stage. But off stage, I'm very like dark and... Because that's my job. And then because it's very hard to do clean comedy. And I'm not patting myself on the back. It's very hard. And I hate the fact that I do clean comedy. Because I'll have comics going on stage and they're like making sex jokes and like swearing and like fucking that. And the audience like, yeah. And then I'm like, hey, orange is color also, fruit also. And they're like, who is this guy? And it's such a crutch, you know, because it's not hard hitting. It doesn't invoke protest. It's very vanilla. So when I'm off stage, I'm like, I do all the low hanging, dirty jokes. And it's also funny because I'm saying it. So when I make a really horrific joke, Karan and Bisa really laugh because they're like, Kenny saying because he doesn't mean any of this.
Yeah.
And I'm making such horrific assumptions. So I think juxtaposition is why comedy...
Nice.
A lot of non-comedians think it's words, but all comedians know it's juxtaposition. It's the context and what is being said not being in agreement with each other. Like, these joke books and all are ridiculous. You can't have a joke book.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Jokes are not that one-dimensional at all. It's like literally being like, मैंने Jurassic Park का script पढ़ा और movie देखा, same है. You know, it's like multiple senses are being engaged in the movie. On screenplay means you're reading and you're imagining. So even with jokes, like when you said, people ask me, tell me a short joke. I'm like, no, I need to create a vibe.
Nice.
Yeah. Like the camera joke was not funny. All of you were laughing. Because the context is a dude who's 33, who's a stand-up comedian, has an FX6. What is wrong with this guy? Yeah. If you explain this joke to somebody, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, who are some of your favorite comedians from movie industry? Like in films?
Obviously Johnny Lever is great. Paresh Rawal is amazing. Akshay Kumar was amazing in the Hera Fairy movies. Incredible, natural. Shah Rukh is very funny. Dude, Ranveer is incredibly funny. In Rocky Rani, I laugh so much. Are you talking about Indian comedians?
No.
Actors.
Actors being good comedians.
I thought even Amrish Puri, when he used to get pissed in a funny way, in Dilwale Dulhaniya, when he's like getting pissed, it's so funny because you can see this volcano erupt inside of him. He did it so masterfully. There's a actor in Malayalam cinema called Innocent. His name is Innocent. And he's hilarious. And Jagdish is also another actor in Malayalam. Very funny. Mohanlal is very funny. But he stopped doing comedy because why? People don't respect you when you do comedy. So he's gone into larger than life roles now. But when he was younger, he used to do a lot of comedic roles with Srinivasan. It is, which is basically what Akshay Kumar is playing in Hera Fairy. What Akshay Kumar is playing is Mohanlal's role. Which is again a tragedy of people trying to be taken seriously. Oscar chahiye ya good life chahiye? Choose. Yeah.
Now I want to move to books. Now let's talk about books.
Yeah.
Which are some of your favorites? Just tell me first tell me about your relationship with books in general.
So when you asked me for recommendations of books, I purposely didn't write anything. because unlike films or documentaries or other stuff, there are like bad documentaries and bad films. But I feel like every book I've ever touched in my life has completely changed me for the better. I read a lot of non-fiction. I read a lot of autobiographies. Fiction. First fiction book I ever read was Harry Potter. I was gonna say a religious book, but I don't want any trouble. But my dad used to read a lot of these business books, and I used to read that, and I used to find it very fascinating because all business books are very behavioral stuff anyway. Economics is mostly behavioral stuff, and so I read a lot of books, autobiographies of people, business books, self-help books. I love them, and fiction it's very few because I was telling my friends is that again I make a choice. Should I read the book or should I see a multimedia version of this? And I usually choose the multimedia because there's just time, it's limited time in my life. So I choose it very wisely.
Yeah.
So I that's why purposely I didn't come up with any book recommendations. Please read everything.
But you like self-help?
I like self-help. Obviously, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is also like a book that impacted me so much. Again, same thing. Like I think I get very emotionally affected, and that keeps me going for 5 years.
Yeah.
So when I read Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that was the basis of me liking science fiction and comedy. And that's why Starboys, which is a show I made on YouTube, it was science fiction reduced to observational jokes. So Starboys' premise is it's 3 South Indian boys in space.
Yeah.
Now, the basic premise is it's 3 Bangalore boys being flatmates. But what I've done is I've taken that and put them in space. So the episode is like we're going through space and a cop catches us. We're going through space, one of us gets hungry and we're fighting about where to go eat. We have a robot who's based on my nephew, Robo Rakesh, also named after Rakesh Sharma. And the robot is a nephew who always wants your phone to play games.
I understood now. My language matrix translated in a jiffy. He said go straight, take left after black hole and then give Robo Rakesh games because he's a very good boy.
Hey!
So it is all like real life observations, which I also learned from George Lucas, who said that all science fiction is anthropology only. You can't make a science fiction movie without understanding anthropology. So the creator, which you brought up before, is just a metaphor for racism, essentially. Which is, you can't build a good science fiction movie without being extremely relatable. Like science fiction movies have the biggest struggle than most non-science fiction movies because science fiction movie has to make sense. A romantic film doesn't have to make sense. A dramatic film doesn't have to make sense. But a science fiction film has to make sense. Like you have to have clear rules and those rules have to be followed.
Usme, I think there are different degrees of science fiction.
Yeah, sure.
Because there is science fantasy also. Where
Fair.
If I go on Mars, I don't have to wear the masks,
Okay.
right? Like so,
Fair.
I am much more inclined.
Oh yeah,
towards
fair.
the-
Sorry, that's more nuanced way. Yeah, of course.
It's not necessary that I have to follow the rules of like hardcore science fiction.
Yeah.
And I'm really fascinated by
No,
it.
I just meant the rules that the writer themselves
Yeah.
have set
100%.
for the world.
And one thing I would love for you to read is, I don't know if you have already, 3 Body Problem.
Is that not by Asimov, right?
No. It's by Shizun Liu.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 Body Problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took this recommendation from Rohan Joshi.
Okay.
Yeah. And
But it's beautiful because I recommended it to a friend, and at 1 o'clock at night, I just get a message from my friend going, "What the bro?" And I'm like, "Kya hua isko? Matlab, kya hua?" Because I forgot I recommended the book, and I called out, I'm like, "Kya hua? Kya?" He's like, "No, bro, I just finished the first book. Kya ho kya raha hai?" And I was like, "Brother, you haven't seen anything yet." And you're like, "Okay." Suddenly, after 3 days again at 7:30 in the morning, "Bro, ye kya ho raha hai, bro? Ideas are breaking my brain, bro." So 3 Body Problem is one that I definitely recommend.
it's like that Hitchhiker's thing that you said. It's been 1.5 years and it's like मैं recover ही नहीं कर पाया उससे. I haven't read a good fiction book post that. And now the interesting thing is that it's a 3-parter and इसका finally show आ रहा है Netflix पे in March, which is made by the creators of Game of Thrones.
Oh my
You were excited. They're like, shit.
Oh man. No.
But they do good. Like when.
If it's a limited series, I'll see it.
No, it's not. Limited.
No?
It is very vast and the scale is huge. You should see the trailer. Like it's.
Yeah. It's so wonderful though. I feel so lucky that I'm born in this period. That the biggest problem I have is the choice of entertainment.
Yeah.
And I love my life a lot. Like the fact that when you're seeing this, like this joy you have for this show coming up, it's so wonderful to see. And I just wish everybody
Yeah.
focused on that more
That's
than the
why-
trashing.
That's what we have this rule on Chalchitra. We don't shit talk.
Okay.
We have 1200 or videos on YouTube and every video is a recommendation.
That's so wonderful.
There's no review.
Yeah.
Because if something is shit, why talk about it?
I'm not saying it's you
No,
can't
but
talk
that
shit,
is our-
but do it with your friends. Like
Yes.
have a blast. But
Oh, I
like,
do it. Like I do it heavily with my friends.
That's amazing. But to let the creator know that you didn't like it is very unnecessary. It doesn't.
No, but I am so glad you mentioned people are not very vocal about liking self-help because I love self-help.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So if you could give any recommendations or talk about any books,
Any book by Carnegie, I think.
so how to make friends and influence wala?
He wrote all of it. Like
Yeah.
any book I read after that is just a pale copy of that. And I think I don't know where I heard this, but like you have to read books from people who are already successful, and then they wrote the book, so that the revenue is not coming from the book.
Nice.
So like
Nice. Good shit.
And unfortunately, people are really successful. Their life is also good. Put their head down. Like Tom Hanks, no problem in his life. You don't hear any newspaper article about him. वो book ही नहीं लिख रहा है. Like I don't know if he has written a book and I missed it, but the really, really sorted people don't write books.
Some of them are like जैसे अभी Matthew McConaughey आई, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Matthew McConaughey is not sorted, but okay.
You don't like it?
I mean, he's not sorted. When I mean sorted, like, is he? When I say he's amazingly successful actor, but is he happy? I don't know. I don't feel like I feel Tom Hanks is happy. I feel Adam Sandler is happy.
Adam Sandler definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely happy.
Yeah, I don't mean when I say success, I'm not talking about the career. I'm like, are you happy being alive?
Yeah.
And so
वो है ना नवल का quote, if you are so rich then why are you not happy, like
Yeah.
he said it in the Joe Rogan podcast.
So-
if you are so smart why are you not happy,
yeah,
कि तुमने सब क्रैक कर लिया तो happiness कैसे क्रैक नहीं करी.
because it takes time to invest in your personal life, and a lot of people don't want to sacrifice that time. So I feel that's not being successful.
Yeah.
To not have time for friends and family it's a massive failure. I feel. Have all this money and you have nobody around you is the biggest failure, and you should not be allowed to give advice if you can't hold a friendship or a relationship or have a good relationship with your parents. If God forbid your childhood was good, it's a massive failure, I think, to be in your 60s and your children don't want to talk to you, or your family doesn't want to be around you, or your friends have stopped talking to you. I mean, what's the point of 7 Oscars?
Yeah, this is plot of Succession, dude.
yeah. That's what. So self-help. I think anything by Carnegie. I read a lot of books on psychology, and I finally took the plunge and I did a course during COVID on fundamentals of psychology.
Wow.
Because I was just like, all these books are anyway telling me the same thing in a very fancy way. So मैंने textbook ही पढ़ लिया, and that's when I stopped reading the thought pieces. Like even Richard Dawkins, any book about evolution or God is a wonderful read, and I love Richard Dawkins. You ever Richard Dawkins?
Yeah. He is also selfish gene वगैरह भी है.
Selfish gene, correct.
Yes.
And he gets pissed on camera, and I love that. Like a lot of people are very poised, and people praise people are very poised and very calm. It's all fake. Like they're not calm, and people criticize people losing their temper or looking irritated or annoyed. And wow, this person doesn't like. Seinfeld gets that criticism a lot. He's very, very arrogant. He doesn't try to be liked. And I think that's the most real you'll ever see anybody.
It's said like people are the most sincere when they're angry. And
I'm like, it's a human emotion.
Yeah.
And Richard Dawkins, when he meets somebody who's stupid, right, he gets annoyed. He starts yelling at them. And Sam Harris is this very calm guy.
Yeah.
But I don't trust somebody who's that calm.
ये भी होता है.
Come like, ये थोड़ा show है. Show me the real Sam Harris. Richard Dawkins, like, this is stupid and idiotic. He'll just say it. So anything by, even Stephen Fry, I read his book about Greek gods. He's such a wonderful soul. And he's been suffering with depression.
Stephen Fry is suffering from depression.
Very bad depression.
What are you saying?
He has depression and bipolar disorder. And
Stephen Fry.
yeah, he's suffering a lot. And many times he's been suicidal. And he talks about it a lot. And he's also part of the LGBTQ community. So it's like he's a great person to listen to. So him and Hugh Laurie were a partner before. They were a comedic partner.
Yeah.
People like Monty Python and John Cleese and all these guys, they just scare me, like the amount of talent they have. So anything Stephen Fry has written, please buy blindly. Even Hugh Laurie is another great example of somebody who just put his head down and did his work.
Do you think he's happy, sorted?
He's not. I've read something about him. Personal life, I'm not judging, but everybody has their struggles. But I just appreciate people who don't toot their own horn. Because I'm assuming they're not tooting their horn because they're working.
Nice.
And or they're spending time with family. So I just want to say, if anybody gives too much gyan, just stop listening to them.
Yeah.
And because you do give gyan, you get a big following, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you say things in absolutes, people really like it.
Yeah.
Men are like this, women like this. It's really fun to watch shit like that and follow it. And the really boring people who say stuff like, I don't know, ho sakta hai, maybe, could be. It's not very fun to watch.
Yeah. Can I give you a recommendation?
Yes, please.
So there's this guy, Sam Altman, the guy behind ChatGPT. So what he does is he doesn't write books. And he used to give lectures at Stanford 10 years back. No one knew him. उसने 10-20 lectures की एक series conduct कराई, where every lecture was given by a founder who has been behind a $1 billion company. Founder of Airbnb, founder of Twitch and all these companies. So तब उसको कोई नहीं जानता था और वो आके sessions कराता था. Cut to ChatGPT came, he became famous. But he doesn't write books, he writes blog posts.
Okay.
And he has written 2 or 3 blogs, which I just keep going back to. जैसे उसका एक blog है How to be Successful. And अभी 4 साल के बाद उसने एक और blog लिखा, which is called Things I Wish Someone Told Me.
Oh.
And it came after he was fired from OpenAI, then brought back and everything. So, and the way he writes so concisely and precisely, you are like, I get everything from these 2 pages. Book is not necessary. इस बंदे ने सारा ज्ञान इन 2 pages में दे दिया.
Yeah.
And sometimes good self-help is like that.
Yeah.
You can get it that concisely.
I like self-help books which kind of give stories. So then I'm like, okay, justifying the thickness of the book.
Yeah.
But as you said, it's only few things to say.
Yeah.
Like, be honest, work hard, respect people around you, persevere.
Robert Greene does that story thing a lot. The guy behind 33 Strategies, Mastery, 48
The Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power.
That guy is very cool.
Yeah.
You see him in these Instagram reels.
Reels, yeah.
You're like, what was that, dude? You just swipe up, you're like, holy shit. Yeah, he's very cool.
Yeah, and he gives extreme examples.
Yeah.
Extreme. Because all these laws and all.
Yeah.
It said a lot of successful people have this book hidden, his books hidden under their bookshelves and all. They don't reveal it to people. But if you read any of these Art of Seduction or 48 Laws of Power.
I think I've read 48 Laws of Power.
Nice.
Yeah. That's the irony, that people who, there's this huge wave of financial content that's coming out during COVID.
Financial content, yeah.
This is how you should invest, this is how you make money. And I used to find it very worrying that I'm like, wow, you are giving financial advice on YouTube. Because anyway, as a comedian, I used to feel like a lot of responsibility. Something I do is I don't endorse certain products as a brand because I have a lot of young kids following me. So I don't drink, but occasionally I do, but I don't post about it because I don't want to just contribute another drop that drinking is cool or smoking is cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I can help in some way by not posting about it.
Very nice.
But giving financial advice, and if somebody takes that financial advice and they lose their money, and you're responsible for that, I used to find that very scary. And then it hit me that then I started reading a lot of books. I'm like, during COVID, I wanted to get better with financial stuff because artist is very bad with money. So I was like, let me not use that excuse कि मैं artist हूँ, मुझे पता नहीं है. And I read a lot of books about financial stuff. And yeah, I just read books about people who have money. And people who don't have money give the worst advice, including my uncles and all. My uncles who give some terrible advice. And in India, you are kind of conditioned to listen to authority. A lot of my uncles who were bad with money were telling me what to do with my money. And I had to like break the... I just realized that people who are really good at money don't tell you what they're doing.
Yeah.
And people are really good at film don't take workshops on film.
Yeah.
People are really good with music don't necessarily do a workshop on how to make good music. They might, but they might be scratching the surface.
Yeah.
But books are an exception.
Yeah.
I think some people really put their heart and soul into a book.
Yeah.
Because that detail is there.
Yeah. I just want to add on this financial thing. One question that I am very worried about and very wary of is like if I go on a podcast as a guest or even आजकल podcast में there's this trend where they ask how much do you make and how much did you... I get very uncomfortable by the idea of it. कि you ask it, so how much do you make? Oh, you're like, so you have a flat वगैरह. मतलब like when you just go to the absolute number, salary.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the salary and like...
I actually don't have a problem with that.
Tell me. I want to understand.
I feel like money is... I'm very jealous of my Gujarati friends. They're so good with money. All my Gujarati friends, they're so good. They're very good with maths, very good with money. And in South India, again I'm generalizing, but in Kerala, we have this attitude which should not show how much money you make.
Achha.
It's very... And my good friend Kanan, he comes from Punjab and all, where you're like proud. This is my car, this is my house. And I feel the balance is somewhere in the middle.
Nice.
Where you are proud of the money you make. At the same time, you're not arrogant and showing off about it.
Yeah.
But we never spoke about money at home. And then I met my Gujarati friends. They were having conversations about setting up businesses at the dining table. And that level of knowledge to have as an 8-year-old, 12-year-old, where your dad's talking about profit and loss, your uncle's talking about, I started this shop and now I'm thinking of expanding. To have that level of awareness as a kid that growth is possible, risks are calculated, they're not all bad, openly talking about money, I'm not against that. I think that's a very cool thing to do in India especially. People in offices don't talk about the salaries they make. I feel if you trust somebody enough, I think it's okay to ask how much money you make.
Yeah.
And also guys are very like scarce about advice, about financial advice.
Guys are very...
Scarce about financial advice. I was shocked that a lot of my very close friends didn't tell me that they were investing. And they didn't help me out. And when the COVID crash happened, they nicely invested the dip. And I was not very financially aware then. And then later when they reaped the benefits of it, they were rubbing it on my face. And I was like, I'm your friend. Why didn't you just tell me to put some money during that time? It's not like I'm taking your money. I would have put my money into a mutual fund that would not have affected you. And I was so shocked that guys are so protective about financial knowledge.
Interesting.
And we don't talk about money because it's so, I think, attached to our identity. Like how much money you make, providing.
Because I don't earn enough, so I get very awkward. Like, that I'm talking about the counter side of it. When you particularly don't earn enough, and when people ask you.
But I think that's also okay. Like, it's kind of like talking about sex. If just because, for example, if I'm getting more sex and you're getting less sex, and we talk about it, you shouldn't feel awkward or the amount of sex you're having. If we should just be talking about sex, it's okay.
Good one.
So I feel with money also, it doesn't matter how much anybody's making, we should be talking about money. With each other, I feel on YouTube it's like going on YouTube and talking about your sex life. I'm like, do people really need to know about such information? That could.
So both should be public. The
I feel sex and money should be openly spoken about in India.
even on YouTube and podcasts.
No, but the financial advice thing, to be specific, I find very dangerous because there are a lot of like gullible papa people who might put their savings into something. And
dude, the level of scams which are happening
Yeah,
right
so-
now, it's scary.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just like, wow, how do you have the spine to do it? Because I would be terrified. I'm scared of saying some jokes sometimes and the implications of that. To be like, yahan pe ye stock kharido, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some very close finance like YouTubers, so I like really trust them with that. I would recommend you, like you should like.
No, but I'm like, I would pay somebody. I'll pay a CA or a financial advisor and get that advice, because really good advice you have to pay for. And free mein jo bhi milta hai, I think you get in a good book. Fundamentals of investing and how to be rich and all. These are great books.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that's happening on YouTube. But if you want really good financial advice, they need to see your balance sheet. They need to see your investment. They need to see your salary and give you an informed. And they need to find out emotionally what is the relationship with money.
Yeah.
So
Do you remember that scene from Louis where he meets his accountant, like where he has to?
I want to buy a house.
I want to buy.
Right. Like I couldn't believe when the lady told me how much it was, I was blown away.
Louis? How much?
It's 17 million. $17 million.
Yeah, it's such a great scene. Louis, man. Louis also, you see a scene. He has a bit that came up on YouTube recently about there are a lot of homeless in New York, but there are none here. Yeah, even if they had a ticket, we wouldn't let them in. That's the agreement. We care about the homeless, but you don't want them in your house. And I was like, what a poignant way of showing hypocrisy. Nobody talks about that. And he just, it's a 1 minute bit.
Yeah.
And it just opens up so much hypocrisy of human nature, of being progressive, so-called progressive or so-called conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now I want to talk about music. What's like?
Yes.
Let's give me some music recommendations. I know you have some here.
Anything by John Mayer. Again, reaction. John Mayer, mainstream. I hope I've changed your mind. John Mayer has had such a successful career at a very young age. He's a fantastic guitarist. Eric Clapton watches for him. BB Guy watches for him. Excellent. If they've broken down his music structure, he's one of the few musicians where the music parts are longer than the verbal parts, which is a very big rarity in popular music culture now, where you have a verse, chorus, bridge, verse, and the verse repeats thrice or 4 times. John Mayer keeps 2-3 bars, 4 bars for just guitar, which is very rare, because any studio note would be isko nikalo. Song bahut lamba ho raha hai. So I really appreciate anything John does. He also is a blues musician and incredible musician. I also have same problem with music. I'm too sensitive to it. Has to be uncompressed.
Where do you listen to your music?
Apple Music has uncompressed stuff, but Apple ka headphones don't support uncompressed headphones.
Huh?
Biggest scam. AirPods Max doesn't support uncompressed. So I have to listen to it on my computer, on my TV, so that I can get uncompressed sound from my speakers.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a big scam. Do you want to know how to listen to music properly?
Please.
So if you can't afford a big surround system, which is complete waste of money, I agree, get a good headphone with an amp. You get these headphones that have an amp to amplify the sound signal, and there are many websites, legally or illegally, where you can download uncompressed music, and you listen to that shit. It changes your life, bro. Any Air Rahman song you have not heard only. Listen to uncompressed Air Rahman songs, you'll be like, there are 12 more instruments I didn't even hear. And that's just one. Just do Air Rahman, enough for one lifetime. But if you want one more, listen to any track that John Williams has released. Any OST by John Williams, start crying there.
Crazy.
Also, Swadesh soundtrack. Swadesh soundtrack is not available, by the way. If you want to
It
listen
is?
to the OST of Swadesh, you can't. You get the songs.
YouTube पे तो मिल जाएगा यार.
नहीं है, you have to see the scene. There's one track where he's going in the camp van and there's one track like Ayo re.
Oh yeah.
Ayo. It's not there in the track. You have to see the scene to hear that. It's so dumb. Yeah, it's very dumb. So, music, anything by John Mayer. I grew up listening to my dad's album case, which was Michael Jackson, Eagles, ABBA, Clapton. That was my exposure to. My dad's an audiophile. He was in the Navy. So in the Navies, the gymkhanas and the naval houses had giant hi-fi audio systems. So my dad got a ear for uncompressed music from there. And then he passed it down to me. And then I got into uncompressed video. Then I passed it to my dad. So I bought my dad a giant TV at home.
Wow.
So he also watches it and nice. My dad's very, very cute. He'll watch every movie on the TV. Because I told him one day in passing, Papa, I should not say anything on the phone. Cutely, my dad will sit in the sofa. He'll switch on his big TV and he'll watch and he'll call me. So I saw the show, very good.
How
So
cool.
he's an adorable guy. My mom hates movies. Yeah.
Dude, this is which is a song that like you test your headphones to like okay
As I said, A.R. Rahman.
yeah,
I listen to a lot of OSTs.
we can nerd out, definitely nerd out about OSTs.
Yeah. So obviously, do you know John Williams tours?
Yes. The Doors I don't know. I know John Williams very
No,
well.
he tours. Like he does a live tour.
I'm sure because Hans Zimmer and all these people also.
Yeah, and he's like 90 or something. No. He's 85 or something. And I have never had the privilege of watching him live. Anything by John. Can we just do one quick appreciation of John Williams?
Yeah.
So he's done soundtracks for Star Wars. Harry Potter, the main theme was him. Uske baad somebody else took over. Superman. Indiana Jones. Jurassic Park. Hans Zimmer is also badass. Pirates of the Caribbean. Kung Fu Panda. Inception. So
I like how you mentioned these ones first before the Dark Knights and all the.
Dark Knight.
No, the Batman and all to hai, ye bhi hai like.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Hans Zimmer's great. Jungle Book Hans Zimmer, dude.
Yeah.
Jungle Book. He did Jungle Book. Then he did Dark Knight. Range.
One OST that I really like is Arrivals.
Oh, who did Arrival?
Joanne Johansson.
Is this
He passed away. He did like he was working very closely with Denis Villeneuve for a few films.
Okay.
Yeah, but then he passed away. That is.
Arrival, man, I don't remember the soundtrack for it.
Yeah.
Arrival's a great film, man.
Great film.
You know, the Arrival, I was just discussing with somebody, is such a ridiculous movie. It's like everything. Who was saying this to me? I'm quoting their joke that everything that happened in the movie happened already.
Yeah.
Aliens already are gaye, and the whole movie nothing is happening. It's just aliens have come. Who do we call? English teacher. And that movie premise was sold to a producer, dude. So the producer, तो alien आने का scene कैसा है? नहीं आ गए. अच्छा तो कौन है? Is it some Arnold Schwarzenegger type guy who? नहीं, it's a very meek English teacher who's going through problems with her daughter.
Yeah.
And what a great movie, dude.
You know, na, it's book based on a short story.
Oh, by who?
Ted Chiang.
Oh, okay.
So the stories we tell ourselves or something is the name.
Incredible.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And what an ending.
What the
I don't want to spoil it, but what a crazy.
And it also breaks the stereotype कि alien आएगा तो मार देंगे, ये buildings गिर जाएंगे. But no, there is more to it. I love it.
What do you think, Vaibhav, is going to happen when aliens come?
When aliens will come?
Realistically, what do you think will happen?
So मेरा थोड़ा answer इससे it's very much
You
inspired.
have changed your position.
Yeah,
so
I'm very
I'm ready for the onslaught that you got.
Yeah, very. So three body problem में इसके बारे में बहुत बात हुई in the trilogy, and I don't think they will come. If they get to know of our existence, they'll just destroy us. So this is the kind of the plot of three body problem. Ki basically the universe is a dark forest where everyone is hiding behind a tree and no one knows कौन कितना intelligent है. So they can't take the risk of coming there. So if they see a movement anywhere in the universe that someone is behind the tree, so for survival they'll destroy you before like doing any contact with it. So in a way it's said Earth is the people on Earth are stupid by sending signals out there,
Understood.
by like telling the world we exist, and basically three body problem is trying to tell you don't do that. It's stupid because if they get to know, you have no idea how intelligent the aliens are.
Of course.
So if they get to know, they'll just destroy you.
Yeah.
So
Is that your opinion?
yeah, this is heavily influenced by that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's why I like said it. I'm like, I buy this because it's so scary. Like over 1,000 pages they explain this. I'm like, हाँ यही होगा signal मत भेजो.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I just feel like there's something called the Fermi paradox. no?
Yeah, this is that.
Where civilization invariably destroys itself.
Yeah.
Or if someone else finds you, they destroy you.
Yeah.
I have a little more kind outlook to this. I feel if a civilization is really advanced, we are not a threat to them in any way because they're so advanced that you can't harm them. They're like, kya karo? You'll shoot a nuclear missile, they'll just like send it to another dimension or something and it disappears or something. So I feel like no matter how violent we get, we'll never be an actual harm to a alien being.
पर वो उनको कैसे समझाए?
उनको कैसे?
Aliens को कैसे समझाए कि हम harmful नहीं हैं?
Now I'm saying even if we're harmful, we can't do anything to harm them because they're so advanced. It's kind of like it's a being that's immortal.
Got it.
Like they're so advanced ki they have figured out how to not get hurt.
Yeah.
That's my first assumption. They're just so advanced ki nothing can happen to them. So they come, they watch us, and they're like, Papa, look at these idiots killing the planet, killing themselves. Healthcare abhi tak free bhi nahi hai. You know, crazy stuff. They look at that first, and I feel they'll feel sorry for us. And I think this is a Star Trek thing of like they won't interfere, but I think depending on how they calculate our reaction, they'll look at our behavior. You know, like how you do machine learning. I think वो 1 second में कर देंगे कि अगर हमको बताएंगे कि we exist क्या होने वाला है. So they'll watch us and they're like अगर 2023 if we tell them they'll kill themselves. 2024 में बताएंगे they'll shoot themselves. 2030 में they will have a good reaction. So they'll wait. 2030 में जाएंगे बोले hey we exist. And they're like, and then we process it, and then and they have predicted that we will process it well, and then we will coexist with them, and then we'll open up new possibilities.
Wow.
That's what I feel would happen.
Wow. And how do you think they will look? Like just if you have
Again, I'm assuming they are a multi-dimensional being, so I think they'll look as something very comforting to us, like the Michelin Man or something. Like they'll come as like this big teddy bear or whatever in 2030 is very comforting to us. I don't know, like a giant shawarma. I don't know, but there's like something that won't freak us out. Because see, we are the children, you know, they are the grown-up. So you know how you approach a child.
दाढ़ी के साथ अंकल नहीं आएंगे.
Like how you approach a child, hello, you do that. They'll do that to us. Yeah, beta, come here. And then you give us a toy. They'll really like, because they are the superior.
They'll
being.
make us like super intelligent and then they'll leave. कि हाँ, we भी हो सकता.
I don't think even the concept of leaving.
Oh, they won't leave. Oh, District 9. Have you seen District 9?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
District 9 is very sad. Because I know that's how we would treat aliens.
Yeah.
Even Planet of the Apes, dude. You've seen Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
It's such a brilliant film. Because in the end, you're like, you want the monkeys to win.
Yeah.
Because we're like, we're such horrible people. But yeah, I feel like if we survive for a long time and aliens come, I think aliens may be already watching, or whatever beings are already watching, and I think they'll be very. Because isn't being violent a sign of being primitive? Right? Yeah. If you're so advanced, why would you be so violent? Because if you look at history, we've become less and less violent, and more accepting. So why would an alien that's like 3,000 years into the future be violent?
Yeah. Dude, you mentioned Planet of the Apes random. मेरे को ऐसा लगा, isn't Avatar and Planet of the Apes the same movie in this?
Yeah. What is that movie? Which something wolf karke. When the first Avatar came, everybody said this is just Dancing with the Wolves or some movie that he chapoed directly.
Okay.
Which is indigenous tribe, humans come. Yeah, I think it's the same thing. It's the even creator. I thought touched it very beautifully that there was Neanderthals and then Homo sapiens wiped them off. So I think it's our inherent fear. All these stories are inherent fear. Ki we know what we have done to other things. We know what we've done to animals and the planet and so our assumption is that aliens वही करेगा हमारे साथ. It's like a stray dog. Stray dog is used to being kicked. So when you go and approach the stray dog bites you. But then stray dog bites you, you still pet it. Stray dog का world view ही बदल गया है कि अच्छा, people are not like me. If I show them violence, they don't necessarily show violence back. So I feel like aliens, they don't think like us. I think they'll be more compassionate कि ठीक है, throw your bombs, destroy us, we'll show you some kindness.
कोई मिल गया is the truth then.
Okay, कोई मिल गया. For the time, thank you Rakesh Roshan.
Yeah.
Thank you for attempting. कोई मिल
And
गया.
the creature was so beautiful, dude.
It's beautifully done, very cute creature. Hrithik did the best acting he could in the most sensitive way he could at that moment. I saw some interview where Hrithik reminisced that he maybe thought he overacted. And I was like, Hrithik, don't be so hard on yourself. You did a science fiction movie. Again, critics, I'm sure you pull up all these critics, they must have blasted it. But thank you, Rakesh Roshan, for making something different. No, even Shah Rukh, man, how much he's tried, dude. Ravan he did that Zero, he did some bajillion millions of dollars he threw into that movie. Papa, dude. I feel like Indians are not kind to experimentation. That's why I think 50 years, please leave everybody alone. 50 years, let everybody experiment, find their voice. Even I think this is also coming from me doing stand-up. When we started, everybody compared us to Dave Chappelle and Louis C.K. I feel like, dude, I fought with my parents to be here. Now I have to fight with you also. Dave Chappelle and Louis C.K. had drama in their school. Drama class, theatre class. They had stand-up comedy clubs while they were in school. In that environment, they became legends. Humko thoda time do yaar. We're doing our best. And I have to pay rent also. It's an impossible task we're on. So I would request everyone to be kind.
Yeah. Are you into video games?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any video game recommendations?
Yes, I wrote it down. Far Cry, God of War. Last of Us I've not played because I'm scared of horror films and horror stories, but amazing game. Max Payne was my first love.
Nice.
Prince of Persia, huge fan.
Then you would also be on the Hitman one.
Hitman, I love Hitman.
I also love it.
Because
the Silent Assassin, Contracts,
all of them, yeah.
Blood Money, Absolution.
Yes, and the new trilogy also.
No, new trilogy.
Again, with gaming also, I'm what you call bad gamer, where I'm not the best at FPS, I'm not the best at Tekken and Mortal Kombat. I just enjoy playing a game slowly, and I'm the kind of guy who checks every room, gets every loot, opens every envelope. Because I play like nobody's watching me. So Hitman, I'll go to every room because again, I told you, I have a lot of compassion. So I'm like, somebody sat and designed this room. Somebody modeled this. Papa, I need to go check it out even once. You know, people do speed run, which is such an offensive thing to do. You know, speed running through a game. It's like watching a movie on fast forward, which a lot of people do, which is horrific. My trace introduced me to fast forwarding a movie. Till then, I couldn't fathom being that insulting to a creator. She fast forward and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, this part is boring. I was like, we're supposed to tolerate the boring part.
Imagine like an Hitman Diana has sent you on a mission कि you have to kill this like drug mafia or something. और आप उसके room में जाते हो and there is a painting in that room.
Yeah, look
and
at
like
the
before the killing the guy.
Yeah.
Let me appreciate the painting.
Yeah, which is also he's such a great character. It's also like they have a very sick sense of humor, Hitman games, you know.
Yeah.
You can kill somebody with a rubber duck and,
Yeah.
you know, while they're taking a massage, you kill them.
Yeah.
Very sick sense of humor. But Hitman also, it's not about killing. It's about pattern recognition.
Nice.
It's pattern recognition of they make you aware it's a game and they tell you that this person will walk around like this every 5 minutes and they stop here. So they're kind of creating an unnatural world. So they make you aware it's a game. So it's actually not realistic. So that's why not?
But the stealthing in that, the stealth mode, I love it.
It's a great game. Yeah. So gaming is something that I think a lot of people are missing out on, and it's also something that I would request partners, female partners, to be a little supportive of their. I also know that some guys get addicted to gaming, which is not a good thing, being addicted to anything. But if you're male counterpart is playing a game for 3 hours. Don't ridicule it. You know, they're finding a lot of joy in it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the few things guys can do to relax nowadays. One is working out. One is playing a sport. One is playing a video game, reading. And most of these require money. In Mumbai, you have to play a sport, you have to spend money. You need to have friends.
Which requires money.
Which requires money. One thing which is kind of low cost is gaming. It really helps, guys. So please.
Yeah. So if you are that guy who goes on and checks every envelope, every loot, there's a game you should play. It's called a short hike.
Okay.
Very meditative, very small, a few hour game. आप ऐसे you are like this duck जिसको छोटे छोटे missions मिलते हैं, bird eye view है, लहरें चल रही हैं, आपको penguin आके बोलता है वो करने मत जा, फिर आप penguin की सुनते हो, फिर आप फिर भी जाते हो, और मतलब very
short hike.
A short hike.
It's funny, like we were playing a game and then I think I watched, Kanan is a good player and his friend Manik, he's the one who's reintroduced me back to games because I had that guilt that when you play a game, you're not working. It's a freelance guilt.
Freelance guilt.
Yeah, so he got me back into gaming and he was playing a game and I asked, hey, stop. This is what happened. I said, just turn the camera to the left. And they were on a ledge. And when you turned, there was this beautiful scenery. And I was like, some game designer sat and made that. Just appreciate it for 1 second.
Yeah.
And then move on and go to the alley. Because somebody did sit down and, compose the sunset.
I hard relate to this because I'm always looking for atmospheric games.
Yeah.
Like, have you played Limbo?
Limbo sounds familiar now.
Yeah, it's a 2D game where, again, very atmospheric.
Oh, 2D game?
2D, 2.5D-ish. मतलब आप जाते left to right ही हो उसमें. But the world is like, yeah. But you just go from left to right. Yeah. Amazing game, dude. And it won many awards. There is Gris. Yeah. I speak highly about it. Again, I'll show you Gris, Gris.
Okay.
When this will end, I'll show you a part of it and like, holy shit. Like,
So gaming is another thing, like, is a very interesting subset of story writing.
Yeah.
Where you play the protagonist, very close to reading a book, where you imagine yourself. And it's a big hot topic, like, adapting a game to a movie doesn't always work because there are two styles of storytelling where you get to be the protagonist versus you're observing a protagonist. So that high you get from being the protagonist is why gaming is so incredible that a lot of non-gamers don't understand. They're like, oh, you're just shooting and killing people. It's like, no, it's one of the only mediums other than reading a book where you get to see the story and be the protagonist versus like you see a movie and you see a protagonist and you unconsciously relate to the protagonist, but here you are. So when you just go into that mindset with gaming, you don't see it as a childish thing. You see it as a new form of storytelling.
Yeah. आप FIFA नहीं खेलते?
नहीं. Trigger word बोल दिया.
क्यों?
मैं FIFA नहीं खेलता हूँ.
Why is it a trigger word?
क्योंकि मैं बाहर जाके खेल सकता हूँ और मैं FIFA देख सकता हूँ. ये बीच में gaming is so advanced and they've leaped and bound over years. They've done multiple open world gaming. They've made Unreal Engine, which is a gaming engine that can recreate reality. And all this technology you take together, you make FIFA, which is just a bunch of guys on a ground hitting a ball. I just feel it's kind of like somebody's made you biryani and you take one cashew from it and you like, bas. किसी ने बिरयानी बनाया है. Appreciate the biryani. नहीं, मुझे बस cashew चाहिए था. So I just feel it's a waste of time.
Are you excited about GTA 6?
Oh my god, yeah. GTA 6, again, I'm scared. The guilt of how much productivity I'm going to lose when GTA 6 comes. I really want Trace also to get into gaming. She's slowly come into it and she's really enjoying it. And GTA was something she played when she was very young. So I'm excited for her to be also excited with me. There was a time I was playing Spider-Man. And have you played the game, Spider-Man, the first one?
I don't have a PS, so...
Okay.
Yeah. But I know it's great. Like, my friends are very crazy about it.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's, I think, one of the...
Yeah. And they have made me see it and, like, I'm aware of the
So we were going to a comedy show and I was with a bunch of comics and there was this female comic who was a friend of mine. And I was talking about how in that Aunt May dies, spoiler, Aunt May dies in every Spider-Man movie. And I started crying while I was playing the game. And she laughed, dude. She's not even in the conversation, okay? I'm talking to my guy friend. She laughed. She's like, you cried at a video game. And
This is the trigger.
I was so hurt. Because if she spoke about something that she's passionate about, I wouldn't have laughed. Anyway, I confronted her and she said sorry. And then if you go on YouTube, there's a series called It's Just a Game.
I have to write this.
Okay, it's a community trend where it's a mockery. It's a response to the mock sentence of it's just a game.
Oh,
So people take all
beautiful.
the moving moments of games and it's a 10-minute video usually and they put that I'm in love, you know that song? They put that song and they put all the iconic moments from games that have made us cry. And the title is It's Just a Game. It shows Red Dead Redemption about, him being afraid of dying. Last of Us, losing your family, losing your daughter. God of War, being a bad father. It's wonderful. So it's men also are pretty emotional, okay? Don't make fun of us.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so glad. And in fact, I don't know if you're into that. I got into the Nintendo gaming because of Samay, the golf.
Yeah.
Have you played golf?
It's too good.
Too
Again, I
good.
stopped. I didn't get into Nintendo because the same thing happened. I was like, this is an incredible universe. मुझे जाना ही नहीं है.
Yeah. Interesting take.
Sometimes you go to someone's house and it's so nice, you feel like you don't deserve to be inside the house.
ये मैं जब हिमाचल में ट्रैक करने जाता हूँ कभी-कभी तो होता है.
Yeah?
Yeah, after 3 days I'm like, this is too much beauty to take. I
Yeah.
get overwhelmed.
You switch off. You're like,
I'm switch off.
I can't.
I need to go back.
Yeah. Nintendo is like that.
Yeah.
There are games like Legend of Zelda and all.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
not got into it early because I know my brain will explode. So I don't think I can handle it.
Yeah.
All this brilliance out there.
Yeah. I now need to move to few of the last questions. And
Sure.
do you have any food recommendations?
Oh wow, that's a great question. So I have this again hot take that life is too short to have sandwiches. Okay, just stop having sandwiches. Everywhere I go, I tell people we are Indians. Okay, we have such a gift, a blessing that we're born in India. We get to have, imagine in one lifetime, you get to have biryani, you get to have dosa. You get to have rasmalai, you get to have gajar ka halwa, you get to have, if you're non-vegetarian, tandoori chicken, lal mas, mutton.
Lal mas.
You get to have paisam, you get to have kheer. You're blessed to be born in India. And on top of that, Indian chefs, pasta to aankh band karke they can make. They're like, what? 4 ingredients? 4 ingredients for pasta? It's like an insult to their culinary skill. So I've had the best burgers, the best pastas, the best pizzas in India, and I'm not saying this out of my ass. I've been very lucky. I got to travel the world because of my touring. I have gone to Italy. I've had a pizza in Italy. I have gone to a chef in Bombay who's made a pizza that was just as good. I've gone to Hamburg. I've gone to Europe. I've gone to America. I've had a authentic burger. I've come to Bangalore. I've had burger equally from Truffles, equally as good. I feel like, please, food recommendations, किसी के हाथ से बनाए, have it first. You go to someone's house, have their dal, have their sabji, have the chicken curry, and that should be a life goal. Ki if you have 3 best friends, have you eaten chicken curry, dal from their house? I won't even get into rotis, okay? Because that's another rabbit hole. It's so incredible. Like every naan is like a fingerprint. It's like It's so unique. You go to one dhaba. I was in Amritsar, we were touring. Dude, we used to just stop at some random place. I used to have a naan. My head used to explode from the back. I feel we are so lucky to be in India that just eat everybody's home food and then do a round of all the famous restaurants. Then do a round of the street food. I've not even brought up chaat. There is a white person right now in Switzerland who has been born and died and not had pani puri. Dude. Can you imagine that this is no fault of their own, right? They happen to be born in Zurich, never had bhel puri, never had pani puri, never had biryani, never had dosa. what a pathetic existence. You know, every day, some days so we have a wonderful cook, her name is Alka. I think she doesn't realize how much I appreciate her. Like every day I come and tell Alka, aapne kya mutton banaya hai? Aapne kya? She made like beans with some peanuts. Just the courage to put peanuts and beans together. And I tell her, Didi, aapne kya banaya hai? And she's like, okay. And she thinks I say it for everything. But I've traveled the world. I've gone to Australia. I've gone to New Zealand. I've gone to South Korea. They have nothing, dude. They have nothing. We are so blessed. In our chai, we casually put saffron. Casually. Like, chai mein we put saffron. It's already incredible. Chai mein aise dal. The most rarest, beautiful... Is it an herb or what do you call saffron? Is it...
I don't know.
Who cares? We have it. Just throw it like that into biryani, into chai. You have a gobi chili. Have you had gobi chili? Have you had gobi chicken 65? Chili chicken? Indo-Chinese. We took the oldest civilization. One of the oldest, China. We improved their cuisine in Indo-Chinese food. It's just, you go and have noodles in China, you're like, kya hai? What is this nonsense? You know, you come back to India, have Hakka noodles. Yeah, so that is my food recommendation.
This is the greatest made in India bit I have ever heard.
But I'm just saying, I'm a very proud Indian, and we're not proud about the right things. Like stuff like this. And also, I was raised in Navy, my dad was in the Navy. So I went to Kendra Vidyalaya. So all my classmates were inherently different. So it was normal to be different. So every lunchbox, one friend was from Kashmir, one friend was from West Bengal, one friend was from Rajasthan, one friend was from Andhra. And I used to, in one sitting, have such amazing cuisine. I didn't realize I was having an exceptional childhood because everybody spoke a different language, everybody looked different, and that was normal.
It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, that's why when I came to Bombay and certain things changed, it became very weird when people started identifying me as a Bangalore Christian English-speaking Mallu guy. I was like, isn't everybody different?
Yeah.
So it was very jarring for me when people were like, where are you from? And I'm like, what kind of question is that? Because in the defense, we are just Indians, and I'm not being like...
No, I understand.
It was normal to be different.
Yeah. I also want some travel recommendations from you, but before I do that, I am very curious. Is there a part of Mumbai which is not under construction right now? It's like, it's very making me angry. Like, is it normal? What's construction? It's very...
See, we're all going to die. I think we need to establish, we're all going to die. The ocean is going to absorb us. Though it's futile. They're building some road, building some coastal highway. They're doing it for progress. Good job. People are dying of poverty. People don't have houses. Rents are too expensive. So pollution is killing us. We could be here all day, Vaibhav. So when you're talking about construction chal raha hai, I'm like, is that the biggest problem?
No, genuinely, because it's the travel bit, and I'm like, I used to love Mumbai.
Yeah.
And I don't anymore because you can't be at a place where drilling ki aapko awaaz na hai, and it's exponentially it has increased on every road, everywhere. And I'm like, what the kya chal raha hai?
See,
and I know we are going to die, so
no. I'm very born and raised from Mumbai.
I'm from Jaipur.
You're from Jaipur. So how many years were you in Jaipur?
Like most of my life. And I still don't, I'm not fully in Mumbai as of now.
Oh, achha, you don't live in Mumbai?
I was here for 6 years. After COVID, I left.
Okay.
And I just come here for shoots now.
Okay, this is why you're saying this.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, it's...
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you can't objectively look at any city in India.
Yeah.
When I travel for my tours and I really miss home, and I was like trying to figure out why do I miss home a lot. It's because we spoke about art before, that artists don't put value to things. the value is its existence. Like the fact that today I wrote this poetry, and the reason for this poetry to exist is just because I wanted to write it. The reason I painted this is because I wanted to paint it. A city in India just exists because it wanted to exist. There was no pragmatic reason for it to be there. A bunch of people collected somewhere and their cultures mixed, and Mumbai is very interesting that way because it's such an old city and it just grew like that. So when you apply logic, why is there so much construction in Mumbai? Why is there so much traffic in Bangalore? Why is there so much pollution in Delhi? Why is nothing happening in Calcutta? You know, like stuff like that. I don't think these make sense because these cities are organic beings that have been created due to a lot of people collecting in one place. But if you look at like a city like New York or LA, they have a purpose. LA is meant for entertainment. Vegas is meant for profit. Dubai is meant for public perception. Here the city came first, or the people, God knows. Now you can't look at it. It's too late. It's like you're looking at an anthill and you're criticizing it. The anthill didn't think it was going to be this tall. So that's why when people complain about any city, I'm like, there's no point. This conversation can't go anywhere.
Yeah, but like if I have to take some basic like recommendations in regard to travel, which are your favorite spots in India and outside of India?
India, South is very unexplored. North has obviously great places. Anywhere in Kashmir, anywhere in Rajasthan. I recently went to Udaipur, which is incredible. I love Shillong and Guwahati. Calcutta also, I've not had a good person to show me Calcutta, but every time I go there, I feel like I'm missing out on everything. So I need somebody, but everybody's so lazy there. I'm kidding. Bombay, obviously, every place is. Bombay also, Mumbai, you need a historian to take you around. There's so much history in every corner that I don't truly appreciate Mumbai as much. In the south, I would really recommend Tamil Nadu has a lot of mountainous regions, like the Nilgiri region, which kind of goes into Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. The entire Nilgiri region, anywhere you go, is very beautiful. Even the beaches in Kerala and the beaches in Visakhapatnam, very interesting places. So, yeah, I would say like if you like mountains, don't forget the south. And if you like beaches, don't forget the, Visakhapatnam side. They have some interesting stuff. Mangalore also is a place that people don't realize is very cool. Coorg is a very cool place. Coorg has a very complicated history. So it's like interesting to see the architecture and places there. Recently, finally went to Pondi, found it very cool.
Yeah.
So it's just every time I travel across the world and I come back to India, I'm like that artistic chaos is not there.
Such a nice way to put it.
Yeah, I really love it. Like in India, like you don't need a permit to sell something on the road. And I think that's awesome. And I'll really be sad the day we start following laws. It'll be a sad day.
Yeah.
We lose all the hawkers. We lose a lot of the Pani Puri guys.
Yeah.
Like all progress is not nice.
Yeah.
So like you go to UK or you go to like, in New York, you do busking in the subway. Yes. You have to have a permit for the busking.
Oh,
yeah. And the permit is time-wise. So if you see a random person on a guitar in the subway, they have paid the municipality a certain fee for 1 to 3 p.m.
Wow.
At 3 p.m., they have to vacate themselves from that place and the next artist comes.
Wow.
And it's very hard to get that slot.
Wow.
India mein aisa nahi hai. I can go and do these, how much do you make? And there's no law to stop you. So, and very few places like in Rajasthan, you see a lot of musicians performing on the street. They don't need a permit, and I think that's nice. So that chaos is nice.
Lovely. Amazing stuff. Kenny, like, is there anything जो आपकी डायरी में हो या जो मैंने नहीं पूछा हो जिसकी आप बात करना चाहोगे? Any niche topics or any recommendations that we might have missed on?
Yeah, I think the only thing I missed out was we didn't speak about cartoons as much.
Let's speak about cartoons.
And comic books. And I just quickly want to accept and reiterate that I'm a huge Batman fan. And when I was a kid, I've come full circle. Like when I was a kid, I was instantly attracted to anything Batman, and I didn't know why. Because you're a kid, you're like, dude in the black suit, cool. And then as I grew older, I understood why I like Batman so much. It's because it's the hardest writing restriction for a creator. You have a superhero that doesn't have powers, so all your villains can't have powers either. So he's a psychological superhero, so your villains are also psychological.
Right.
So that's why you have such iconic villains like Joker and Two-Face. Because the writer was like, because the laziest way to make a villain is superhero ka evil version. Superman, Zod, evil Superman. Spider-Man also, interestingly, I like Batman and Spider-Man because the writing is so beautiful. Spider-Man, Marvel's biggest strength is relatability. Batman's unfortunately a billionaire, while Spider-Man can't pay rent.
Yeah.
He's not cool, girlfriend doesn't like him, friends don't like him, can't keep a job, which is such a master stroke in a relatable character. But anything Batman. So Batman animated series, have you seen the animated series?
I haven't seen the animated series.
So Paul Dini made the animated series.
ये कब आई थी? Sorry, I
ये
don't know.
90s में आया था.
Okay.
So the Tim Burton Batman came out.
हाँ.
So they were like, इस tone में let's make a cartoon.
ठीक है.
And it was the first adult themes, stuff like grief and guilt and regret, consequences, pain, like stuff like that was explored. And a very cool fact is that they were like, how do we crack this film noir treatment to an animated show? Because Tim Burton did the film noir for the Batman series. Which again, we don't have time to talk about this, but there's also a tough thing to make. You have to choose the right tonality so things don't look ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a very tough skill. Green Lantern fucked up with that. Batman, you really get the tone right because if you pause, it's a grown-ass guy in a bad costume, which is ridiculous. Even Spider-Man, if you see set photos of Spider-Man, he looks ridiculous. This guy standing like this with the webbing. It looks like an insane person. But tonality is such an important thing to crack, which good directors and writers do, is so that things don't look ridiculous. You buy into the ridiculousness of it, and you're taken seriously. Even Nolan did it very well, where there were some scenes where it breaks, when I think Batman is in the day and he's talking to Gordon, and you're like, this guy's wearing a mask, dude. He's wearing a mask and he's telling Gordon something. It's very jarring because you're like, kya ho raha hai? This is.
For me, it also breaks in the Dark Knight Rises a lot. The third
Yeah,
one. A lot.
Tonality breaks happen.
Tonality काफी.
So Tim Burton really figured out that this is a ridiculous character. One of the earliest times they did because Superman was treated like it's not real, but Batman had to be treated like it's real. So that gothic architecture, film noir, masked the ridiculousness of a brooding adult billionaire dressed up as a bat. So when they had to do the animated series, they're like, how do we add film noir to cartoons? So it's one of the few shows which was painted on black chart paper. Because they were like, we have so much black in this show, let's just save ink and paint everything on black paper so that we can just highlight certain aspects to give it that film noir feel.
Yeah.
Which is such a great call tonality wise. Do you know that Netflix effect or that Amazon effect?
The colors, the thing.
Yeah, when you watch a Netflix original.
You know it's a Netflix
Yeah,
original.
And you watch like an Amazon. I'm not trying to diss anybody. I'm sure they worked very hard.
It's also a thing for the Mexico. You know how they like sepia-fy the thing.
Yeah.
You know it's Mexico.
And mistakenly people call it film look, and you camera guys know cinematic look. How to get cinematic look? And I was really thinking about the cinematic look. I was like, is it out of reach for us? Do you have to have a $100 million budget to get cinematic look? And then the creator happened. And then I remember like some Wong Kar-wai films.
Yeah.
And they're like shot pretty badly. Like they're shot in some call camera and a lot of these Korean filmmakers. And I realized it's not the quality, it's not the composition, it's just tonality. If you get the tonality right, you can get away with anything. You get that, you make the audience like I'm in control now. You cannot break out of this. And
Crazy.
Yeah, and that tonality is something that even stand-up comedians use very well.
I really relate to it for 2-3 reasons. Personally, मेरे को भी लगता है when I watch a film, for me the most important thing is tonal consistency.
Yeah.
हर जगह में tone break हो गई and कल ही मैं एक नोलन का एक so do you know about this guy Nathan Fielder? Nathan for you? Yeah.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, and he then made the rehearsal. Have you seen this HBO show?
He made a show called The Rehearsal in HBO.
Okay.
He used to do
here
the
this-
YouTube series and used to talk to people.
No. I was with Kullu yesterday. मैं बिठा के दिखा रहा था. So Rehearsal is a HBO show which Nathan Fielder made.
So good for him.
It was so good. And उसके बाद अभी इसका Emma Stone के साथ शो है The Curse, जो इतना अच्छा है कि Nolan is taking a Q&A of Nathan Fielder and one of the Safdie brothers. ये दोनों बैठे हैं. It's made by them. And Nolan is like कि revolutionary television, The Rehearsal and this. And Nolan Q&A कर रहा है. And I was listening to as a podcast because मैं बस सुन रहा था. There was a line in that. If you get the tone right, you can do anything. And I so hard relate to that.
Yeah.
कल exact same line सुनी.
Yeah, and that's like, and unfortunately, such an easy thing to say.
Yeah.
Get tone right. But the homework required for that is a knowledge in cameras, is a knowledge in screenwriting, is a knowledge with actors, with editing, with production, with sound mixing. So unfortunately, it's very easy. It's like saying, write good movie. But the homework for it is really hard. But like getting tone right is, so the Batman animated series got the tone. So Paul Dini created Harley Quinn, by the way. He felt Joker needed a balancing character, and which was not there in the comics. So he created Harley Quinn for the show. And then the character became so amazing that DC adopted Harley Quinn into the mainstream. So the Batman animated series is where the Harvey Dent's split personality and the conflict of the evil inside. And you're like, I was in 6th standard, 7th standard watching this show, and you can feel the subtext, you know.
Crazy.
So you should check it out. It's on Netflix. They recently uploaded the entire Batman animated series, and it won every Emmy, by the way.
Can we also please take a moment to appreciate the Into the Spider-Verse and Across the...
Yeah. So
For me, they are the game changers, dude. Like, both the films. Are you a fan?
I'm making that face again.
How?
Man. I saw... First of all, Sony Animation Studios made it. And they haven't made anything that incredible. Suddenly, out of the blue, because as someone who also paints and is also into graphic design, they didn't need to do this. They didn't need to take 3D programs, which made animation easier, and then add back 2D artistry. So how they do Into the Spider-Verse is they shoot the 3D thing, and then the 2D artist looks at it and says, I want to accentuate the eyebrow. So instead of adding the eyebrow in 3D, he just draws it.
Crazy.
And in 3D, one problem is everything's consistent. So if this is my front profile, and if I turn, it's going to be an accurate side profile. But 2D mein aisa nahi hai. Your front profile, side profile doesn't have to be consistent. So they brought that back, that when he turns, his face shape should change. Frame rate thing is something that a lot of people argued about, which is another topic. But leave the technical aspect of how beautiful and how innovative and how they try to make it look like a comic book. The story is so incredible.
Incredible.
And they did multiverse so well. And I think because Into the Spider-Verse did so well, they were like, let's do
Across.
No Way Home, where let's bring the other Spider-Man. Because I think like any businessman, they're like, ye kaam karta hai na, then we'll do. So I think if Into the Spider-Verse didn't happen, I don't think they would have done Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back, which again was like childhood dream.
Yeah.
But Into the Spider-Verse is such a great film, and again, I think the Sony's killing it with Spider-Man, dude. Like, people criticize Star Wars for stretching it, but everything they do with Spider-Man is great.
मैं आपको यहाँ पे एक ट्रिविया देना चाहता हूँ. You might already know. So there's this guy. His name is Alberto Mielgo or something.
Is it that Lego thing?
No. So he was one of the main guys behind the Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know if he was there till the end, but जो tone setting में he was responsible for it. Then he starts doing his own thing. So Love, Death and Robots के दोनों season में उसका एक episode है.
Which ones?
The first season में it's The Witness.
She sees a murder, right?
Yeah.
And she runs around chasing. Okay.
So he made that.
That's him.
And then he made Gigaro in season 2 or 3, where there's this lady who like screams.
Oh my god, he made that.
He made that.
And they all go crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then he made a short film called The Windshield Piper, and he won the Oscar for best short film. The Windshield.
You can't win an Oscar. You can't be cool and win an Oscar. You really have to do, according to my theory, you can only get one. You have to suffer and get an Oscar, or you be cool and you don't get any appreciation. Not fair.
So
dude.
really fascinated by this guy.
That Love, Death and Robots also is one of those things I don't recommend only. I'm like, it's like, I'm afraid people might OD on it. I don't want to lose my friends. It is so incredibly dense and so masterful that my mood really gets bad. I'm like, how can people be this talented? And takes such again, that show only exists because the producers have so much money. I think Miller, right, is one of the producers, the Deadpool director.
I know Fincher is one of the producers.
And Miller is the other guy who was the owner of Blizzard Studios, who is a video game studio. They do video game animatics. So he was the one who got Ryan Reynolds together and made Deadpool, because he said I could make a 20 million movie look like a 100 million movie, because he was head of Blizzard Studios. So it was his project and Fincher came together to make these animation projects. So ऐसे ही बनता है. When somebody is like, मैं भी artist था एक time, अभी मेरे पास पैसा है, here's money, we will not interfere.
Yeah, man.
You just do your things. If you can, make it 10 minutes if you can. And here's one topic. And give us one more draft. But do your thing. And I don't know if the third season came out, right? Of Love, Death and Robots.
Yeah.
I hope it keeps going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where you get to see so many new voices. कोई consistency नहीं है किसी episode में, but in their world they are all consistent.
Yeah.
And you love it, यार. Like बहुत प्यारा है. Amazing. Anything that I might have missed, कोई और चीज़ जिसकी आप बात करना चाहेंगे? We might, by the way, have to check with him, and I don't know how much of it we'll cut. So our show is called The Longest Interview, and Gulshan Devaiya episode was 2 hours 15 minutes. Are we the long? 2 hours 23.
We've been talking for 2 hours.
We have been talking for 2 hours 15 minutes.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
we are.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
How do you... Did you change batteries twice? Once. Oh, crazy.
This is 2 hours. Oh, is it officially the longest?
I would like to apologize to the editor. Are you going to remove anything or... Who's your editor? Is he here in this room?
No. You can give the notes in this only.
No, because I'm sure you're in some dark room and you've not seen your family and you have some glasses. Yeah, editors, man, poor guys never get any appreciation. They're not allowed to see daylight. And just when they finish a project, somebody throws another project at them. I'm also an editor, so I have a lot of sympathy. If I'll give you timestamps so your edits are easier.
Yeah.
Poor guy, man.
My last question, is there any passion project of yours that you wish should get more recognition? यार मैंने बड़े दिल से बनाया था, time मिले तो जाके देखो.
So, when I was 24, we made a show called Star Boys. And Star Boys came from a time of my career where I truly made things without thinking about who it's made for. I just made it for myself, and I made it to make my friends laugh in Bangalore. And I didn't realize the power I had, where I was given so much money. We had a sponsor, and it took so much time to make it. I did some After Effects in it, and I did the foley of it.
Oh, nice.
And it came out. And at that time, the audience expected me to do stand-up. They didn't even know I was South Indian. And I think the audience was very upset with me. They were like, what is this shit? You're supposed to do stand-up. Why are you putting a science fiction, comedy, parody mini-series on YouTube? Nobody asked for this. and nobody saw it. And then 3-4 years later, everybody started watching it. And now when I meet people, they said, man, big fan of Star Wars. I want to slap them because you didn't support me when I needed it. We never got season 2.
Oh.
So I would just beg you to go watch Star Wars. It's on YouTube. It's for free. And if an artist you follow tries something, just support them and don't. I think a lot of audiences don't realize that they kind of pigeonhole their artists. Like when a musician tries to do a different genre of music, the audience gets upset. If Christopher Nolan tomorrow did a romantic comedy, they'll be like, yeah. When Heath Ledger wanted to do Joker, they were like, ये तो romantic hero है, ये Joker क्यों कर रहा है? Robert Pattinson wanted to be Batman. I think like when your favorite artists are experimenting, it's very good. Let them do it. If they fail, it's fine. They'll learn. But to be upset at them for trying something different is such a counterintuitive thing.
Yeah, man.
Because then what will happen is Russell Peters famously talks about this, where he started doing stand-up and people wanted to do impressions. And when he didn't do impressions, the crowd used to boo him. So then he was like, "Theek hai, I'll do what you want." And he did what they wanted. Now they call him one trick pony, that he's not changed. And now he's also stuck. Because he's like, I tried to grow, you didn't allow me. And now I'm doing what you want, you're bored of it. And I'm not blaming the audience, but I'm just like, it's such a unfortunate scenario where an artist is trying to please the audience and the audience only becomes the villain. And on the contrary, if the artist tries to grow so that he can give to the audience in the long run, the audience is upset with them. So, Star Wars is my project.
You know, there's this quote, like, I don't know who said it, but they are going to crucify you if you change.
Yeah.
They are going to crucify you if you don't change, so you better be changing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also a dilemma that I talk with my comedian friends a lot, that we unfortunately grow old and the things that affect us change. So either you go on stage and say what you want to say and disappoint people, or you say what you don't want to say to make them happy. So you're anyway disappointed. Eventually they'll be disappointed because you seem very unhappy, so nobody's happy. So just say what you want to say on stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, do you have any questions, all four of you? Yeah, I'm sure you might have.
I can go. So, first of all, Sense8 was the...
Sense8, yes.
And John Williams is 91 and he also worked for Schindler's List. And apart from that,
Banging soundtrack.
Tom Hanks apparently wrote a book.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Is it an autobiography?
No, it's about motion picture.
Oh.
So, yeah, and one recommendation I have, which is John Mayer is now in Grateful Dead. So, there's a song, Terrapin Station.
Okay.
It's a 16-minute song and it has like 3 minutes of words. And 30
Classic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Terrapin Station medley. So,
Wow.
yes, you should go.
Love.
Okay, so I have a question. The question is, what is something that you really thought you'll do, that you still think that you want to do,
Yeah.
but you did not?
Yeah, make a movie. I'm going to make a movie one day, guys, and it's going to be incredible. But it's not, I'm coming from a place of non-scarcity. The first 6-7 years of my career, everybody told me comedy is a bubble, this is a bubble, people forget you, try to be relatable, and I bought into it. And I'm finally realizing that life is very long, and touch wood, if I don't get hit by a truck. And you only get better as you grow older. And I don't have to make a very expensive film, but I'll make a movie because I really want to make a movie, not because I have to. I already have a lot of ideas, so I'm just waiting where an idea becomes so unbearable to keep inside that I'll make it. So I will definitely make a movie at some point.
And do like hit us up, because as Chalchitra, we like to...
If you guys write a review of it, no, I'll be very upset.
We don't review, we recommend.
Yeah. Please recommend. I'll pay you guys.
And absolutely love your work.
Thank you so much.
And the last question, serious one. What do you like more, lime soda or fresh lime soda?
Flat lime soda. I'm a huge fan.
Lovely. But like, I hope you had fun.
Oh, dude, I can't believe I've been speaking for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I had a great time, dude. Vaibhav. Such great questions, and I just want to apologize because nobody's going to watch this.
Before we end this, if you can ask your fans and all the people who will watch it to subscribe to Chalchitra.
Please subscribe. They're doing very counterintuitive things for the algorithm, like putting really long podcasts and asking very intelligent questions, except some baity questions like animal and all. I know what you're doing. Okay, I know what you're doing. But yeah, please subscribe. I think if you watch this and you don't have guilt of productivity, please watch this. It's really cool, and I had such a blast. And I'm really grateful that you guys called me here and I could discuss all such niche stuff with you. So please subscribe and like it. It's good for the algorithm.
Lovely. Thank you, Kenny. This
Thank
was
you, Vaibhav.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So guys, कैसा लगा episode? If you have watched the episode till here, use the hashtag #WeMadeIt in the comments. और अपने favorite bits के बारे में भी comments में बताओ. So yes, keep watching and keep listening to the episodes of Longest Interview, and I'll be back with another episode very, very soon.